white O for the Slurpee?
The white O for the Slurpee.
Nah, don't worry about it. You gotta eat your next one.
Again?
Yeah.
It's not happening.
And tell him what you were gonna say after you eat it.
No, he has to hold it to his grave.
Oh damn! Can you tell me?
We can tell because he does a face when he has a pun.
Can you tell me? I don't want to miss one.
He can whisper the pun into Emery's ear.
Right.
But he cannot repeat it.
So was it that Jacqueline that you said at dinner?
We're live, by the way. We're live.
Was it the Jack though? Is that what the problem was? You said it was plugged into the wrong port?
Yeah.
Or? Oh, okay, cool.
Live from E3. It's Tuesday night.
Not live.
He
Kinda
said
live.
live. Live on
He's not recording. He's not recording the podcast yet, so only the live feed people get this exclusive content.
Special
right here.
paid-for content that you didn't pay for.
It's about as exclusive as a Microsoft game.
Okay. I'm just putting the link in a couple spots. So give me a second.
Talk amongst yourselves.
So the public really fucked. Oh wait, I'm not on the mic. Jeez. The public really fucked this year. Fucked us this year. Fucked everybody.
I didn't know you were into that. In public too. Wow.
Drinking his suicide Slurpee with like 5 flavors in it.
Sponsored by 7-Eleven. Everyone's got a cut.
I don't think they're paying us for this.
Don't thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Is that still their catchphrase?
Alright.
7-Eleven, don't pour Coke in a Slurpee cup.
Everybody make sure your switches are on, please.
Remember, go get your switch.
It's on sleep.
I'm gonna do the fun, Sandy. You have to eat it.
Are we ready?
Mic check? Is that?
Anyone? Are we ready? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, mics are on.
Yeah.
So you guys have been talking to no one.
No, that's why.
Well, it's coming over one mic, so. But it's going through this to the camera.
Oh, so no one heard my good.
Oh, nobody. Quippy. Oh shit! I should turn it off the laptop so we don't get feedback.
To quote Ben
So much for that exclusive comment.
Feedback dough.
Dado feedback?
That dough feedback.
Was that a pun?
Yes.
Shit, I wasn't thinking about
Fucked up.
You didn't hit record yet, so it didn't
That
count.
didn't mean two things. That didn't mean two things at all.
All right, I'm hitting record.
Where's the line between pun and bad joke?
I don't know.
Pretty much wherever you say anything.
So I just can't talk then.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
Like last year Monday.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, we ready?
Yep. The mics are all working.
Mics are all working.
Cool.
Hello.
E3 Day 2, Tuesday.
Did you press record?
Yes, I did hit record. So now I'll start over.
Yes. Yes.
It's only Tuesday. Continue.
Fuck it. Let's get started. Who wants to start? What'd you see first?
I thought you just usually go down the calendar.
Sure.
Alright, it don't matter.
Let me
So I
pull
saw
that up.
Uncharted.
You saw Uncharted.
Um,
Was it divine?
it looks gorgeous. There really are no new mechanics in it. If you played Uncharted 4, you've played this game in terms of, play style and everything. But it is Chloe and
What's her name?
Nadine. And we delve a little bit more into their backstory, which is cool.
Oh, nice.
You get to learn a little bit more about who they are.
And why Chloe's so devious all the time?
Yeah. There's stuff I could say about that, but I won't. It's in an interview I did. So,
We'll put that at the end of the podcast. How about that?
yeah.
Okay. So there we go. Interview number 1 at the end of this podcast. Obviously, it won't be on the video, which hopefully everybody is hearing much better tonight because we're live on YouTube.
But it looks pretty spectacular. It's all set in India,
Yeah.
all in the western region. I forget the name of it. I have it
Now, did
written
they
down
tell
somewhere.
you it's all set in India? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
No, they literally told me that.
Well, because the games are always so globe-trotting that you
Yes.
never know.
No, this is all set in Western India.
Okay.
And it's very specific to the story and what they're looking for and why. We get all that as you play the game.
Sure.
So I saw that, and then I went to Konami, and I
Fuck
saw.
Are you
Konami?
just going to go through your whole list?
This is all. This is my list. It's these two back to back.
Well, but then you saw their stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's at the end of the day.
Okay.
This was all at the beginning of the
Okay.
day.
So you went to
Before
Konami and got the
anybody saw
Uber
anything.
swag.
Yeah. Pez, it was weird. I didn't actually get to talk to anybody. They were doing a live stream,
Oh.
and they told me to wait, and somebody would be there to talk to me, and nobody was there to talk to me, and I just played with somebody from Game Informer. But while I was standing there watching the video of the live stream, I saw that they've done more with the ball physics
Okay.
to increase the realism there. There are control improvements on the corner kick and free kick with removal of the guideline and new camera options. The kickoff, new one-person kickoff has been added. Changed to 2 players with the press of a button. More authentic player models, including short sizes and shirt fitting.
Okay.
Yeah. Natural flow between new animations to make it look more realistic. The player animations have been reworked from the ground up. It looked good. It actually played pretty well from the 2 games I played. The facial animation has been significantly upgraded, and goalkeepers carry the ball more naturally after a save and have a variety of distribution motions. They went into all the stadiums and did a lot of work on the stadiums themselves, including locker rooms of a number of the places.
Okay.
Yeah, all the presentation, like they've done a ton of work on it overall, and it looked pretty good.
Well, that's good news. I mean, Raj was very complimentary of the last one,
Yeah,
and it seemed like they were really trying to compete in that marketplace against Pez.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, against FIFA. So
FIFA. Yep.
cool.
And then I stepped right into Metal Gear
Survive.
Survive.
Oh,
A friend of mine said he's just going to call it Survive
Yeah.
from now on because he doesn't consider it Metal Gear without Kojima.
Yeah. Well, it's an alternate universe, an alternate timeline.
Of
basically.
course it is.
You've been thrown into an alternate timeline, and the whole nope. The whole thrust of the game is trying to find how you got there, why you're there, how to get back.
Okay.
Um,
And you're playing as Snake again? As
No.
far as you know? You're not playing as Raiden?
no, you're just playing as random characters.
Are you serious?
Well, at least for the multiplayer, we get to choose. There is a single-player aspect. They wouldn't tell us what it was.
Okay.
We played 4-player co-op, and it's a lot of resource gathering, base building. We were trying to protect something at the middle of the base, so we had to build up all our defenses, and we had 3 waves of attackers coming in. The zombie things, whatever they are, they don't really have heads. There's a bomber that looks like a big, beefy, brainy thing on
Okay.
legs that comes charging in.
Jeez.
There's a couple different classes of enemies that come in, but you can you pick your different characters, and you can, depending on what your loadout is, which was set for each of the characters that we got to choose.
Right.
I got to lay down a big oil, a big 3x3 oil pit,
Okay.
and I had a Molotov, so I thought, okay, so I guess I just light that on fire.
Sure.
And when I laid it down, it was in this narrow little place, and as everybody's running around trying to set up like barbed wire fences and stuff like that, one of the guys ran through it and went boom, and his leg shot right out from under him.
Oh, nice.
And he slid.
That's pretty
And-
cool.
And he tried to stand up right in the middle of it and slid and slipped down, and so that's the trick to that one. But yeah, you do have Molotovs, you have like melee weapons, you have guns, you have all kinds of stuff, and yeah, you just have to stop them from infiltrating your base. At least that's what we were doing. But we got through all three rounds. It was actually kind of fun.
Cool.
We were all having a good time with it, and everybody was like, we were communicating and laughing about things, and it was good.
But the real question is, are Metal Gear fans going to give it a chance?
I have no idea. Probably not.
Right.
It depends on what they talk about with the single player part of it, and what that means, to anybody. Whether it will piss them off or whether they'll give it a chance at that point. I have
Right.
no idea.
It will piss them off. They will not give it a chance.
All right, it's been settled.
There we go.
He's wearing a
But
Metal Gear
that's,
shirt.
that's what I saw at the beginning of the day. So, who was next?
Well, we had... Who was... Oh, Andy, Moonlighter, whatever that was.
Moonlighter. It was RPG. So it starts out, it's very Zelda-ish. They
Okay.
drop you in a dungeon, it's like the single room, then you jump to the next room, so like the 2D Zeldas, and fighting enemies and stuff. And you're just trying to gather items because you're actually like the shopkeeper. So it's called Moonlighter because at night you go into the dungeons, you gather items, and then during the day you have to sell the items, make money. And they were a little bit vague on what exactly the story was, but there's reasons you're trying to gather money.
Sure.
And it's kind of funny because I walked in and I'm like, this description, it sounded a lot like Recettear on Steam, and both the guys shake their head like, yeah, we didn't hear about that game until after we started, and now everyone says that because it's very similar to that game. But so it combines like the selling stuff and then the combat stuff and a little bit of roguelike, of course. So like every time you go into the dungeon, it's different. If you die, you lose all your items. You gotta like start back from the beginning. And yeah, it played pretty cool. They only had a couple weapons. Unfortunately, I broke the demo twice, so
Nice job.
I didn't get to advance.
That's MGC's job. What are
I
you
know.
doing?
What was I doing? What?
I broke the demo
Wow.
twice.
Oh, I broke a couple demos as well.
Yeah, I broke it once, and they recovered it, and I still had my save file because I guess it was auto-saving, so it was okay. But then the second time, I gathered a whole bunch of items, and I was going to warp back and sell them all and get a whole bunch of money and start like trying out all the upgrading stuff, and then it glitched out. My character went invisible, and I didn't warp back to town. And
Nice.
So, but yeah, it was very cool. I really liked the gameplay loops, as they referred to them several times, were pretty interesting and seemed like it was my type of game. So
Cool.
definitely one I'll have my eye on.
Nice. And then Emra, Tower 57.
No, I didn't go to that.
Why not?
Well, we were in the media room waiting to for the front doors to clear. And by the time I realized that I was supposed to go to that, I was already waiting at UB.
So in other words, you didn't give a shit. You just wanted to go to UB and play
Yeah,
Assassin's
well, I
Creed.
kind of forgot to.
Okay.
How do you
well,
forget your like 2 appointments in a day?
MJC, Squeenix.
Oh yeah, Andy tagged along for that.
Yeah, I went to that too.
Okay.
Yeah. We saw Life is Strange 2.
Go. No way.
Yeah.
Is that why you went to Squeenix?
Damn right.
Because you wanted to see Life is Strange too?
Yep.
No.
It's the only reason.
All
Yeah.
right.
So it's Life is Strange 2. We talked about it like yesterday. I don't know how long we've been here recording.
You pretty much talked a lot about it, but I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw anything new.
We did see something new. So the setup, it's a prequel. You're playing as Chloe before she like kind of went on her downhill spiral. Because when you meet her in Life is Strange 2, she's like the punk rock chick who's like a high school dropout, dyed her hair, So
Experimenting with drugs.
yeah, drugs.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Getting piercings where they shouldn't be.
Yeah. Have you played Life is Strange?
No, this
Okay.
just sounds like...
Yeah. So this is before that. This is still when she's like kind of a good girl type of thing.
Okay.
And you get to learn about her relationship with Rachel, who's a character in the first game that like disappears.
Okay.
So you get to learn about her life before that. So you're going to visit like her at her house, which you hadn't visited before, like her hangout spots, all that stuff. You're going to visit a lot of or see a lot of the older characters and see how they ended up in the situations they were in
Okay.
Life is Strange 1. They showed us a bar scene where Chloe's just trying to get to a concert.
Wait, a bar scene?
Yeah.
Isn't she like in high school?
Yeah, but she's like a rebel girl or trying to be a rebel girl.
Okay.
It didn't seem like it was like a legit bar.
It was like there was a band playing she wanted to see, so
Yeah.
that was the main reason.
Oh, okay.
A club.
Yeah, club. It's one of those. It's like a Telltale type game. You know, every decision you make has like a butterfly effect.
And they even do that thing in the corner where, like, after you make the decisions, like, this will have consequences.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So for Max, it was a butterfly because Max was like the main character, and she was like the innocent girl type thing. And it was a butterfly effect. For Chloe, it's like the Illuminati, like triangle with the eyeball. One of the main mechanics in Life is Strange 1 was there's a thing where Max was a photography student, so she would take photos of things and everything like that. For this one, Chloe just writes graffiti as like a side thing. She doesn't have powers. They said she's not going to get powers. There's not going to be any powers like this. It's just going to be about the relationship, because that was most of people's favorite things about Life is Strange.
Okay.
It wasn't really about the time travel powers and all that stuff.
Spoilers.
Is that rewind mechanic part of her power?
Yeah, that whole rewind
Okay.
thing was like her
I just
power.
didn't know if that was like an element to reverse a decision in the game.
No, that was specifically a power she discovered in like the first couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
But there's not going to be any powers in this. Chloe was just like a normal person. Yeah, so you just get to meet old characters. His character Frank, he's like her drug dealer. He's in really bad shape in Life is Strange 1, and you at least see like their relationship. Like he's very protective of her.
Yeah.
But in Life is Strange 1, he was just kind of done with her.
Okay.
So we'll at least see how that relationship builds out. They drop names of a bunch of characters from the first game, so you at least see all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it still looks good. Animations are still really stiff. Like, I don't know if you noticed, like when they were at the dancing at the party or at the bar or whatever,
Yeah.
it just looked kind of hilarious because the characters weren't really meant to move that way, so they're trying to get like these really stiff characters to look like they're like moshing out and
Oh, okay.
dancing.
Oh boy.
It's only going to be 3 episodes. Life is Strange 1 was 5 episodes. This is only going to be 3. It comes out in August, though.
Is it gonna be cheaper?
I would hope so. It was like $20 for 5 episodes, I think.
Okay.
So,
$18.
yeah, $18.
Maybe each episode is longer.
Yeah.
Maybe each episode is longer.
It could be. Yeah, it could be that they balance it out with length. Yeah, just all that stuff. I actually went scene by scene, like notes for each scene, but I don't feel like that. I'll write up those scenes later. Yeah, no, it looked good. More Life is Strange. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Cool. And then Dave got to see. I don't know if you played Lawbreakers, but
I did. I
You
played.
did play it?
We played and captured Lawbreakers. This was
Cliffy
of,
B's game.
Yeah, it was a little bit different compared to the other appointments. I'm like, okay, I'm here, and they're like, okay, here, sit down, play. Like,
Oh, okay.
There wasn't any like presentation or any talking, which
Wow.
is interesting because it's a pretty high end, supposed to be a pretty high end competitive shooter that's been very.
Well, they're definitely trying to make it an esport.
right, which
Yeah.
has been very successful on PC, and it's coming to console, and it's going to be $30. And Cliffy B's been on Twitter saying, no DLCs, no season passes. Like my game is $30, and I'm going to balance it and get rid of all that crap. So we played a mode called Blitzball, which is essentially grab the ball and go, score in the opponent's
Were
goal.
you underwater for this?
No,
Oh, okay.
not
Something called-
RPG Blitzball, just shooter Blitzball.
Okay.
Well, isn't Final Fantasy which one?
10.
Yeah, it had
Yeah.
Blitzball.
Yeah, I thought I'd heard it before when they were talking about it. So the interesting part is that like at least in this mode, and I'm assuming there's other modes, and it was only a half an hour appointment, and I really didn't get to talk to anybody because when I took my headphones off originally after the first game to stop playing, the guy's like, "Oh no, you have a half an hour, just play another match," and then it was over, and then gone. So I didn't get to like I said, I didn't get to speak to anybody. And they gave me the assets on a sticker, and they're like, "Here."
A sticker.
Yes, on a sticker that she peeled off of the adhesive and gave it to me. Like I was supposed to put it on my. It's on the inside of my backpack right now.
Okay.
The press pass, like the password and everything like that for the assets. So I mean, it was just a very. the way their booth is set up is that it's obviously on PC, and PC is where their core is right now. And they had multiple rows of PC with a shoutcaster and everything like that, showing it like playing live. And then
Sure.
the PS4 stuff was on we were sitting on these beanbag chairs in the lower part of the booth. And there was like whatever it was. I think it's like a 5v5 mode.
Right. That sounds right.
And then like the ball spawns in the middle of the arena, and then it's a gravity doesn't matter kind of game, so you can spend
Right.
a lot of time in the air. You do have a meter though, so it's not like endless time in the air, but your jetpacks and different classes and everything like that. There is what I thought was interesting is there's no ability to aim down sight.
Really?
Yep, there's no ADSing. So
Well, actually, Unreal didn't really have any of that for a while either. Like the
your
original
L2
Unreal.
button shoots like a secondary weapon, and
Sure.
your R2 button shoots a primary weapon, and you have like an L1, which is like a super ability. It looks like it has some crazy depth to it because one of the floor people was like, she stopped me. She was like talking to my ear for a minute when she was seeing me do something, and again, I have to really look at the assets, and I didn't get a chance to remember all the classes and the names. Like there was Juggernaut and Titan, and
Sure.
like they're basic things like medic and healing ones, like for all of that. But like there was the character I was playing at, she was telling me that I can hit L1 and I can slide across the floor, which you can slide very fast, and I can press down on the D-pad and I'll actually like hip fire behind me,
Right.
and it'll boost me farther.
Right.
So in like there's a lot of like I was trying to figure out how I could like slide, push down on the D-pad and still kind of shoot.
Yeah.
It was kind of like really hard to do all that on the.
I've watched a few matches online, and I'm glad somebody else went to the appointment.
It's fun. It was very very fast paced.
The whole no gravity thing, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A lot of you're in the air a lot if you want to be. It's not my.
And
thing.
I guess and I wasn't paying enough attention or watching the PC fighting or the PC match that was going on behind me.
Right.
But I didn't have a lot of in-air combat with the people that I was playing against.
Okay.
The interesting part is when you kill the person carrying the ball drops right where they are.
Right.
But there still is a shield around the ball for the team that had it for a certain amount of time. So you almost have to kind of like miniature cap that spot
Interesting.
to get full control of the ball. So it's not like you can just kill the guy, grab the ball, and go.
So it's not like CTF where you
Right.
can,
You have to kill the guy, like establish control of the area briefly, and
Okay.
then you can take the ball. So it was cool. It's coming to console like very soon, August I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
and it's
right.
$29.99. So it was very cool, very interesting, but it was very very like just quick appointment as well.
Okay.
So I hopefully when I dig into it a little bit more, reading some of the stuff on the press kit and getting a little bit more in depth on the write up. So
Yeah. And then you guys went to Ubisoft after that. So Emra, you want to kick that off?
Yeah, so I went to Ubisoft, and the show floor was kind of crowded, so it took me a little while to get to my appointment. Oh yeah, and then I was on the investor relations side.
So you went to the wrong booth.
Not where the media is supposed to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault. There was no signs.
That's typical for E3,
All right.
pretty much.
There
So-
was, but someone took it for swag.
Probably.
Ah,
Yeah. They had a scavenger hunt going.
One of those public guys. The yellow badgers.
Damn yellow badges.
Oh man. Okay, so then I got to go into this private little area that was stupid hot, and I had
you were there.
Wait, so it was good?
no,
Or was,
no,
it was it hot fire?
temperature.
Okay,
no, not yet.
temperature-wise?
Yeah. And
Super hot VR coming to PS4.
why can't MGC pun in
So
English?
Because he has to eat his pun.
I had a nice warm water bottle. So Assassin's Creed wasn't ready for me yet, so I got to play The Crew 2,
Yeah.
like TWO,
Which vehicle did you pilot?
all of them,
You played all the different modes in what, 10 minutes?
all the different modes in one.
Oh wow! All right.
So I wasn't really
One mode or 1 minute.
one mode. So I wasn't
You have, like,
really
5 controllers and just
impressed too much with the like visuals or the gameplay or anything
it's
like that.
early,
Yeah, it's alpha stuff, I guess. But what I was impressed with, Josh, lend me your eyes. Helps me talk.
Jesus. Now it's getting creepy.
now
Yes,
he's
dear.
nervous.
What I was impressed with, or what I thought they might have been going for, was the. Come closer.
Yes. What?
Was the whole.
What was it?
The whole.
Speak to me. What was it?
He's down on one knee.
The quick
Speak.
transitions in
I'm glad we have this one
gameplay.
on
Yes.
video now.
So
Your wife's gonna be pissed.
Yes.
All right, that's too close.
Your
I take it
wife.
back. I take it back.
That's too close. Come on.
I take it
Make
back.
up your mind.
No, you make him nervous. His heart's beating.
Yeah, it is really fast.
You're sweating. Look
I
at
waited.
you.
For the record, our viewer count is increasing.
I waited my whole life for that. All right. So what they're going for, I think, is quick, snappy
Kinda like, what?
gameplay transitions.
Yes.
Because you can, let's say you're flying over a river in a plane.
Yeah.
You can hit the right stick
Yeah.
and turn right into a boat.
Like
drop onto
Transformers?
the water. Yep, kind of.
Seriously.
But like it flashes over, it turns like white, and then
That
it
was
turns into a new
beautiful.
vehicle.
Whoa.
And you can do that
Weird.
boat, driving towards the city,
I just don't.
right stick to your favorite car slot, back on the road. No?
I think they're doing too much with this game. I really do. I mean,
But Dad, Night Boat.
Night Boat's on after Knight Rider or something. But
right.
you said that like just stop sucking down the Slurpee and Jesus Christ.
Wood chipper got a wood chip.
Got a wood chip. Yep.
What were you saying, Glenn?
Well, I mean, but you didn't even like the visuals because I mean, it looked really good in the trailer.
It did, yeah. I mean, it didn't seem like the same game that we saw on at the conference. I'm sure it will be.
Maybe it was
Once
just
it
the
comes
build
out.
they were using.
Yeah, and it's 2018 for a release.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that was it for that.
All right.
Dave, you want to go in between?
Yeah, I can. That's fine.
Go for it.
So I got to play Skull and Bones, which is
Yeah.
the ship combat game based around the ship combat in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So we did a brief. It was like we were in there for like a half an hour. Same thing that they've done before, where like there's like even when we did like Ghost Recon last year, where you had like 4 or 5 people on one side and 4 or 5 people on the other side, and then we were all on headsets with mics, and then we had a coach behind us kind of helping us. So we went through like a brief tutorial really quick, which showed you how to control the ship, to use the wind to your advantage, when to adjust the sails and stuff like that to get better speed and movement. The controls during that were never really played a boat fighting game before, so I
Sure.
don't really know if it controls good or bad, but it seemed to control like it should. I wasn't frustrated with lack of movement or inability to turn or control. Obviously, you can't like turn this thing on a dime,
Right. Right.
So, and then we went into a 5v5 mode of team deathmatch essentially.
Okay.
So there are, like they showed during the trailer on Monday, there are different classes of ships. You have like a tank style ship, you have a marksman style ship, and like a in between ship that can do has the ability to get do damage from closer range, but everything's kind of like the risk reward. Like the tank can obviously take more damage and it takes longer to destroy them versus like the marksman one, which is very low very low armor, but can do some really, really good damage from distance if somebody knows what they're doing, kind of like a sniper. So the gist of it was, taking down the ships and picking up loot, and then, or points essentially, they call it loot.
Right.
And then each, then to escape out like through the, cavern to get out of where you were with the loot. The whole team does share. That was a question that I asked. So like if we're all playing and Emra has the most, then we need to protect Emra to make sure that he can get out of the ravine to with the loot. Then even if it means that I have to sacrifice my ship to make sure that he gets through, we do get to share the rewards and win the game. It's not a individual based thing.
Right. Right.
Dave would die for you, Emra.
I'm so precious.
There is a way to shoot from the left and right side of the boat and through the front, and then each boat does have like a class ability. I struggled a little bit to figure that out with the tank or the ship that I was playing with. But for it being something that appears to be pretty far out, I believe. I think they were saying like holiday 2018.
Yeah, I think they said later 2018.
Yeah, it looked really good. Again, obviously it was just one PvP mode we were playing in a pretty closed environment. But it's obvious to your opponent who has the most loot. there's an indicator on there, and then something I did discover is that the ship has a hit marker on the left side and the right side. You only need to defeat or get those hit points down on one side, and you'll sink the boat.
Oh, okay.
So you can see who's weak, and I don't really see any way to heal or to fix your boat. There is a way that you can brace. If you know that impact is coming, you can brace as a team, and you'll take a little less damage.
Oh, okay.
But there's nothing that I see that gives the ability to heal, at least as of now.
Interesting.
So
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
If you had to if you could pull back and.
Yeah, there's not a medic ship or anything like that. So.
Well, I wouldn't think that, but maybe doing repairs to the ship because it's the ship that's really getting damaged.
I was able to board during the tutorial to board an enemy ship, and I was slightly disappointed that you didn't really get any control over that aspect of that.
Oh.
It's just kind of they jump on the ship and they cut the captain's head off, and it's like boarding successful.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so I thought that maybe they were just showing that in the trailer like that, but that is how it happened. It would be kind of cool to briefly take control of a character. And other PvP games have done something like that, where even in Battlefront, you did really well. You got to be a
sure
a superhero or a supervillain and do some cool stuff. But maybe they'll add it. So
cool. What else did you guys see there? Just those two games?
Nope.
So what's next?
Some Creed Assassin game or something?
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creeds.
That we've had to hear about since we got here.
Why? I've been talking about it?
A little bit.
That's right.
Between meals.
It's no Splinter Cell though.
No. that
Oh
was
my
a
god!
bummer.
Don't get them started on that.
Ouch. Okay, so I didn't get to do a lot of scaling buildings and jumping off them into.
Well, really, are there that
Pyramids
many
or-
buildings to do that with in Egypt?
No, not that I saw. I was kind of on a water dock area. So there was a lot of swimming. There was a lot of sailing on these little rafts.
Sure.
And the button prompt when you take these rafts from people is
Tell me about it.
Can you hold the mic for him?
Tell me about
It's
the
On one
button
knee,
to,
prompt.
hold the mic for him?
it's to
What's that button prompt?
it says borrow,
Yes.
so you're not really stealing that raft.
So you're
It's
not.
so nervous.
Wow.
So you don't
Not
get you don't
stealing
get you don't get stars then.
Wow.
No stars.
No.
You,
Do you
What
bring
if
it
we all
back?
just get in close to
yeah,
Emma
yeah,
right
he
now?
says,
I'm getting creeped out myself.
he apologizes for taking the raft.
They bonded 1-2 switch.
The
They counted
assassin.
balls and everything.
guy. And it was
Yes.
already close.
Yes.
That's
What does he do?
I'm screen capping the hell
he
out
goes
of
back
this.
to his seat.
So next
And then what does he
And-
do?
and then-
next meal we go to, Josh, you need to do that while he eats.
Oh yeah, I am.
Oh my god.
We'll see if that'll make me.
He might actually slow down.
No, he won't.
Um,
No, he won't.
So they're
So you
beating up
borrow
this,
a boat instead of steal it.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to get at. So they're beating up this little kid who they think robbed
really short
something.
cord.
What are you?
Who
It's a
stole
little
some
dim,
gold.
so we're trying to.
Beating up this little kid who they accused of stealing some gold, but then he says that he didn't steal it. He lost it in the wreckage.
Okay.
Right. So you can save this kid by verifying his story.
Okay.
So that's the part where you send your eagle out to see if he can kind of identify where in the wreckage that gold is.
Yeah.
Turn that light on.
So your eagle finds it.
I'm glad we did all this before we recorded, instead of going to get Slurpees and stuff. Yeah, that helps. Turn the light on in the bedroom.
It was worth a shot.
It's fine.
Yeah, because before we recorded, we could see what the video looked like. Hey, look at that.
Seemed fine.
How are we looking?
Gold.
Slight improvement.
Keep talking about
It all
Assassin's
looks
Creed.
gold.
All right.
Okay.
Where are we at?
Where
Assassin's
was I?
Creed, what?
Eagle.
The eagle, the drone.
I sent him out kind of like my drone from Watch Dogs 2, and he finds my those two things that the kid supposedly stole. Then I go swimming
yeah.
underwater, and I grab the stuff. Story checks out, and I save him. And that was the story mission that we got to do.
Okay.
I was on a horseback, but supposedly you could get camels and things like that too.
Did it meet your expectations?
Yes. They didn't have like a revamped like weapon wheel or easier changing of weapons and such.
And now we can't see anything because there's a light shining right in our eyes.
And then after that, we went to some battle arena,
that supposedly it's a physical location in the world, somewhere that you can go to.
Okay.
And in there, it's kind of like a horde mode, I guess, because you're fighting wave after wave of enemies.
Oh, really? Another horde mode?
Yep.
Awesome.
So they got the
Jesus.
light attack on the R1.
I'm just gonna record like this all night now.
Heavy attacks on the trigger on
Yeah.
R2. So, that part was revamped, though. I felt like the combat controls were a lot better.
Cool.
So there's a lock-on that actually works.
I don't know if I want the room more illuminated. Commenter.
Yeah, this hasn't been distracting at all. I hope Ubisoft doesn't listen to this, and this is what they're going to talk about.
I
with
hope no one
Assassin's Creed.
listens to this.
Please just make sure you visit psnation.com. I promise the write-up will be less
Yeah.
spoiler-filled.
I doubt it,
I'm gonna write
because we're
something.
going to put pictures of the proposal going on.
And the write-up will have perfect lighting.
Yeah, perfect lighting.
So, the revamped combat. So there's a better lock-on system. There's a better evasion system. The square button will make you dash. And
What about the traversal? Because
Yeah, is it you still Velcro man?
Yeah.
well, that's what we don't know because I was just kind of swimming and sailing and not so much
Oh, so
and
you-
on the
okay.
horseback, and
All
so
right.
not so much building play there in
You
the
can
demo.
climb a pyramid?
No, there was none that I saw.
It's Egypt.
Yeah, but
He didn't pyramid. He didn't see any. He didn't.
God damn, you know what?
wow.
Fucking told you. Okay, you know what, Andy?
Magic.
Every
That was
time,
fucking
every
good.
time you pun, sunglasses. Okay.
Oh, so it can be like CSI Miami.
Yes.
Pyramid. Wow.
Don't expect a day 3 video, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, if there's one thing that this is going to probably do is have more people watch the video because they don't know what's going on. We don't even know
true.
what's going on. This is getting a little weird.
And the night is young.
Yes, but I'm not.
I think that was it. I got through 3 waves, and then there was this boss fight, but he was too good, so he killed me a bunch of times.
All right.
And that was it.
What I really want to know, Emra, is how was Just Dance 2018?
I think they're gonna hire me to travel with the crew there.
They only had that on the main booth. They didn't have that in any of the rooms back there that I saw.
There might have been some private dances.
I'm a
Not me.
dancer, dancing for money. You see anything else, Dave?
I did get to another 20 or 30 minutes with Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
So it was the first mission that you played at the arcade.
Okay.
At the before the press conference where you liberated that one area.
Right.
And then it introduced us into an NPC that you met with and talked to about what was going on, and then we actually you had to go to this, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but this to his airfield. When you get to the airfield, you have to liberate that area.
Right. That was one of the guns for hire that I didn't choose. 'Cause
Right.
It's kind of a reckless.
Yeah, so the way that they explained it to me during this demo is that when you play the campaign in the game, you won't be choosing somebody at the beginning of each mission. That
Yeah.
you'll kind of like progress and unlock them through the story.
Sure.
And they're adding them right now for
Okay.
for the understanding. So something that I don't remember if you did or did not talk about, when you have the the guns for hire, you can direct them like that. So you can send the one
Yeah.
up to the water tower. You can send the dog after people.
Yeah. It was down on the D-pad, I believe.
Right.
But then if you held it down longer, it would like call the dog back. I don't know what
Right.
it does with the rest of the characters,
Yeah.
but you can. The dog was cool because you could send the dog in, and obviously nobody really cares if a dog runs through. So he'll actually run in and tag all your enemies for you, which is awesome because then you don't have to get up in a high spot and try to spot them all, one by one. And then you can actually send the dog in to attack somebody, which is pretty badass. But if you do it where somebody else can see, then they'll get suspicious and start looking around for whoever's ordering it around.
So I was still trying to get comfortable with the buttons and the controls. I accidentally threw a stick of dynamite, and that caused everything to go crazy.
Was this Red Dead Redemption?
Did
Oh, look,
Boomer
a candle.
Did Boomer live?
I didn't use Boomer.
Oh.
So, but what I thought was interesting is that like they showed it during the press conference. They showed that liberating that small city.
Yeah.
And then.
It's like a bull in a china shop.
But what I thought was really cool is the true what and again, I don't remember if Far Cry 4 had this, but the true freedom to go where you wanted and to shoot. And I was able to go on top of the church. I climbed up a ladder. I was on top of the rooftops, shooting some things from the rooftops, dropping down. And then when you liberated that, you had the ability to talk to a woman that told you about something going on in the airfield. Got in this really cool semi truck that you could drive. You just walked out there, and there's a big, bright Optimus Prime blue with red flamed, like semi truck. And you just barreling through things when there was like other people from the cult like trying to block the road, and you just drove right through them. Yeah,
Far Cry 4 was pretty open, but there were 2 big sections of the map that weren't available until you kind of unlocked them, huh? Oh, I thought you said something. Sorry. I heard something.
Then, you get to the
outside.
You can't see with the lights.
I can't. Honestly, I can't.
You get to the airfield. You deal with what some of the people at the airfield, and then he starts talking to you, and he's going to work for you, and then he directs you to his plane, his water plane. I can't remember, hydroplane. That's not it either. I don't think so. Is it
hydroplane?
Is that what it's? I know what hydroplaning is on the road, but is it a
plane
hydroplane?
that goes on the
water plane?
Okay,
Seaplane.
Yeah.
Seaplane.
So that. Figuring out how to control that at first was a little weird because you essentially just push X and it goes faster, and then you pull up and it takes off. So there's no like L2 or R2 with any of that.
Right.
So
that sounds about like Far Cry 4.
Yeah, the plane can drop bombs.
Which is awesome, and it has a machine gun on it.
Yes,
doesn't
it does.
Yeah.
Yep. So the mission I was briefly doing was you were trying to get rid of 3 or 2 stationary bases, and then they started moving the supplies on a convoy. So you had to, start shooting down the convoy, and I was able to drop the bombs on the moving convoy. So that was kind of fun.
Nice.
There were supposed to be some more. They were supposed to be able to show me some more open world elements, but I had to go, so I didn't really get to check that out after that. So.
All right. Cool. Anything else at Ubi?
No, I need to go back though. There's a couple more.
I
things.
need to go.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't even go to South Hall today.
They showed
play that Elijah Woods game.
Yeah.
Oh,
transparency.
Transferring.
Yeah.
That was a Hideo Kojima jam.
Yeah. South Park had a room. I don't know what they were showing in there, but there was. It looks like it's playable there.
Oh, cool.
So
I'm gonna have to go over there. I got to see that. All right. What's next? What am I missing? You guys are all.
Oh no! I just had the brilliant.
Hope it's Emra next.
Yeah. I just realized we have Fireball and Slurpees.
Ugh. You guys need to drink that shit. Oh no, we'll send it home with Andy. He bought it. So I had an appointment for the Golf Club 2, which I was shocked that they were doing a second one. I hadn't really heard about I haven't really heard about the first one for a while. It kind of died off because it's a good game, but it didn't have really a career mode or anything else in it. So I just haven't played it for a long time. This new one looks a lot better. It's still built in Unity, but they've really added a lot of features to it, including career mode, and it's pretty neat how they're doing it. But
you remember I saw this last year.
Golf Club. That's right. Now I remember that.
And I talked about that they had added all this stuff. How does it look now though?
Looks a lot better than the first one. And the cool thing is, if you created any courses, you can import them into the game. They're not going to do it automatically because there's a lot more tools. But it's going to be out in like 2 weeks. We're going to have a review code like tonight.
I would hope so. I mean, I saw it last year.
Yeah. They changed the commentary. They have competitions now, which is nice. They have you can get into your career and go through a lot of tournaments and everything else. You can also create your own club, and you can earn credit in the game, and you can buy better facilities, that sort of thing. It was weird because I haven't played the old game for a while. So getting back to, because I actually played it today, and I was doing all right for a while until I got to the putting, and I forgot how the putting it's intuitive, but you're so used to playing some other golf games out there that I kept pushing forward too fast. So I was just pushing the ball like crazy. But it's neat. It comes with 21 courses. They actually had 3 of their kind of most prolific course creators. They actually hired these guys to create 3 different courses to be included in the new game. But it's all online. If you're online, you can just download all these other courses that are created. The creators got a lot more in it. It actually has downtown type buildings.
Yeah. They were showing off a lot of that last year.
Yeah, like alligators and all kinds of crazy
added
shit.
to it at this point.
It has true like you can create big waterfalls and everything, which they didn't have before. They didn't have that many levels of water dropping down. It was fun. I played, I'd say about 6-7 holes, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we should have the review code for it like any time now.
So like like I remember when you did Golf Club 1, like the concern you had with it was the lack of courses, right?
It wasn't like it wasn't the lack of courses. They don't have any real licensed courses, but there are creators out there that have done a really good job of creating simulations of real courses. But because the creators themselves have to import those courses into the online system, you don't know if they're going to be there or not.
Right.
But they will import. What I'm hoping they do is some of those that have done like really famous courses do that, and they use the additional tools to kind of make them better. That's what I'm really hoping for.
Well, I think I remember you saying that like Golf Club was good, but you saw opportunity.
Oh,
the
definitely.
opportunity you see in Golf Club that you saw in Golf Club 1, do you think that they're hitting that in 2?
There were a lot of modes and things that were lacking.
Right.
Well, the biggest thing was there was really nothing to play for.
Okay.
There was nothing to achieve, and there are numerous opportunities to achieve things in this one.
Okay.
So that's what's really promising.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotta get those Chivos.
not those kind of achieve
Oh,
things.
okay.
No, I really enjoyed it, and I actually ran over time and all kinds of stuff. But it was cool. I'm looking forward to it,
Awesome.
especially since we're not going to get a new golf game from EA. It seems like so. It'll be nice to have a nicer. Because the problem also with the first one was they built it in Unity, and they were kind of doing something new with Unity, and there were a lot of graphical glitches all the way throughout the game, and a lot of that stuff has been fixed. The shadow still had a couple problems, but it looks a lot cleaner now and a lot nicer.
Think it'll hold you over till everybody's golf comes out?
Well, I mean, everybody's golf comes out at the end of August, so yeah, it definitely will.
Cool.
Yeah. Capcom, Andy?
I went to Capcom, MGC, tagged along.
Yep. Oh, ooh, can we talk about the cool thing we saw before Capcom?
Yeah.
Was that the chili?
No.
Oh,
It's
that
called eSkin.
oh God. Yeah, you guys showed me that. How did you like? Was that next to Capcom or something?
No, we were kind of wandering because we got out of Square Enix. We had a little bit of time to kill, and in addition to saying hi to Anna, we wandered and saw the skin thing.
eSkin.
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 It's basically one of those like Under Armour, but then they had strain gauges all along like the arm, like certain seams, so that as you moved your body, it would like move the in-game character.
Sure.
So they had like a demo where like you swing your arms like you're running, and then you punch a wall or jump and stuff like that. It was
The possibilities are endless.
yeah,
apparently,
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah. It was
Or in my
kinda-
case,
I
I
did-
really don't care.
I just love the name. Just eSkin. This is
E-skin.
Great.
Sure.
There. How much was it? $5,000 for?
Yeah.
For
Are you
this?
serious?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she hands us. She's like, "Can I give you a pamphlet?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So she hands it to me, and then she says, "Oh, and here's our card for our Kickstarter. We're going to do a Kickstarter later this summer, so that we can have a consumer-priced version." I said, "Consumer-priced? How much is it right now?" She's like, "Oh, the developer version, $5,000." And we both kind of balk at it, and she goes, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, I know.
And then just knew, like, you guys are gonna walk away now.
Yeah.
well, when is Kickstarter going to start falling off? Seriously. Everything is a Kickstarter. It has been for a while.
It's working. I mean,
It is, but I've seen something
well,
like
okay,
funded.
arguably working. Lots of people are getting money. Not
Yeah.
all the games are
Not all the products
Yeah.
are hitting, or yeah.
coming
Yeah.
out properly. Mighty Number 9.
It's a
They still
decent-
haven't got all their
it's a
backer
decent
rewards.
game.
It is never going to hit those mobile devices ever.
Well, speaking of Mighty Number 9, we saw Mega Man.
Yay.
Yeah, which
I mean-
the Legacy Collection.
Legacy
2 or
Collection.
whatever?
Yeah.
So it's what,
I
7,
think
8, 9, and
yes.
10?
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
through 10 it appears.
Yeah. So I sat down and played that for a little bit.
Well, you didn't have a choice. They kind of just like, here's a controller, walked away.
Yeah, the lady kind of just dumped us there. I think I was playing 7.
Yeah, it was 7.
It was 7. Okay. I'm terrible at those games. I mean, so I don't know for sure if like all the emulation is right, if everything it's exactly pixel for pixel like it was in the original version. But
Sure.
I mean, it played well. I was at least getting to the bosses before I died.
There's no reason for them to do anything else crazy
Yeah.
with it than they did with the 1 through 6 version, which is they had a boss rush mode in the 1 through 6 version. They had a high score mode. They had like bonus level things and speed run stuff, that online leaderboards, and the ability
Yeah.
to mess with the the ratio on the screen and stuff like that.
But
so
you didn't have anyone to talk to about this one? They just kind of dumped you there?
Well, she showed us into the back area, and she's like, all right, you can either see Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Story Mode or Mega Man Collection. I'm like, well, we kind of already downloaded the story thing and played that last night. She's like, oh, yeah, this is the same thing that we put up as a demo, so I guess go do Mega Man. So then she kind of walked us over, and once the station was empty, we sat down and started playing, and then she kind of wandered off to do something else and then came back and checked on us a couple times, but that was really about it.
All right.
They had cool Mega Man headphones.
Yeah, they had the Mega Man headphones sitting there.
You know what's funny? Mark bought a pair of those because they dropped them down to $20. Because apparently they're not wireless, they're nothing like that.
Yeah,
and they came out at like $80 or $100 or something like that. And then Amazon one day had them for $20, so he bought a pair to have them because they're Mega Man.
The one I used on a TV, I put them on. I'm like, I got to put those on, try them out. And then I immediately put them back, and then he's like, how are they? I'm like, I can't hear out of the left side.
But jeez.
Hey, but they light up.
They do light up. They do light up.
Yeah.
Oh,
those are a new model then, because the ones because he was even saying like they don't even light up or nothing. That's so stupid.
Yeah, these light up. They look cool.
Nah, I'm sure they do.
But the good thing we saw was Monster
yeah,
Hunter.
before that, actually, she took us over to the theater, and we got in to see the Monster Hunter Worlds. So it was one of those theater experiences where someone was playing it in front of us. It was kind of interesting. At the beginning, he says, okay, we're showing this here. We actually have another thing at the Sony booth. This is our single-player one. There's a single-player mission. Sony is showing the multiplayer one.
Oh.
So confirming
Well,
that there is multiplayer
Drop
in the
in,
game.
drop out.
Yeah, because you guys
Drop
were
in,
talking
drop
last
out.
night that you didn't know if
Yeah.
there was going to be any co-op or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a lot of the footage from what was in the trailer seemed to be come from this mission. So just kind of popped on the mission. There's been a monster terrorizing this area. We need you to go find it and kill it, basically. And so the guy kind of runs out into the area and starts searching for the tracks. So he finds like the footprints, and then he's got these kind of what would they call them?
Scout flies.
Scout flies. So they'll kind of like light up and give you a little bit of a hint where to go from there. And eventually, you follow the tracks around. He was kind of messing around with some of the other animals in the area, and because it's a demo he's done a few times, he's setting a few traps where he knows he's going to end up fighting, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
but the environment and like the monster AI, that's all dynamic.
Yeah.
So it will change slightly every time you play it. Just 'cause,
Yeah.
Okay.
the environments are somewhat destructible. So at one point he got the dinosaur or whatever, the monster, to hit a cave wall, and that revealed a whole different cave
Oh, wow.
that he wouldn't have been able to get to without the monster knocking it over.
Okay.
And then you can use, like, the monster can knock trees down. You can also use the trees for traps and stuff like that. So the world's destructible. He didn't say full destructible. He said destructible, and then he
It's probably
walked
like
it.
set sections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he walked it back immediately after he said, and it's fully destructible. And then I forget exactly how he walked
Yeah.
it back.
Oh,
But it seemed like certain things, certain walls, certain trees, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fully destructible in this space right here.
Yeah, it was
Between
kind of
these
one of
two
those.
trees.
You can destruct between the erasers and the
See
Sorry.
that wall right there? You can totally destroy that.
yeah.
We did have some super fans with us because they were like,
Oh,
the media were getting in, and then they were just letting, because it was a theater thing. So
Yellow
But
badges.
the good thing is I can hear them talk
Yeah.
through most of it, so they were like really excited. Like when he was walking by plants, the girl next to me got really excited. She's like, "Oh my god, you don't have to gather anymore. It just picks it up automatically."
I think he was actually pressing a button because there was a circle button popping up.
Oh, okay,
but he was like
There's no
picking
animation
it,
now.
Yeah, picking it up as he walked by.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh my god, we don't have to gather anymore," and
Yeah.
so that's another
Then
thing.
he
And
turned
then,
around and, oh my god, shut up, I'm trying to hear.
yeah,
I think he said all 12
DLC.
types or whatever
Yeah,
of
all
weapons
12.
from the main games are in this one.
yeah, all 12 weapon classes. I believe is what he
yeah.
said.
Ooh.
There's a day and night cycle, which
There's
got
a
people
day-night
excited.
cycle.
Oh, nice.
During the fight, he was kind of fighting this monster, and eventually kind of brought it up to this one area where that flying monster that was at the end of the trailer came in and started attacking the monster. So the two of them were fighting. Then he messed up and fell down below. And when he came back up, a third monster had kind of wandered up into that area. So all three monsters were kind of like duking it out, and he's kind of trying to weave in between them and kill the monster that he needs to kill for his bounty, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it seemed very dynamic. It seemed very interesting. The combat was kind of
Monster Hunter-ish.
Monster Hunter-ish,
yes,
but
very
there was
Monster
there was
Hunter.
obviously there was some
Very
cool stuff like
reminiscent of Monster Hunter.
exactly. but like he at one point he like jumps on the monster's back and he's kind of stabbing it.
Sure.
And then the monster decides, trying to get you off. He's gonna like ram into the wall with his shoulder, and you can like jump to a different part of the monster so that when it rams into it, doesn't knock you off.
Wow.
So different
That's
stuff
cool.
like that.
Nice.
Still cool that it's coming to PlayStation. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they finally say anything about platforms? Because it's supposed to be Xbox and
Yeah, they
it-
just said
Xbox,
PS4, Xbox, and
PC. It was running on a Pro. Everything I saw was running on a Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
This whole like today, like every game I played was running on a Pro.
Sure.
So
Sure. All right.
you had that fear, right? Was it you were like remember where like they're always going to demo games on the Pro? Like,
Well-
I remember listening to the
Well,
podcast.
it's because a lot of
and-
them want to have it on 4K TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's the whole deal nowadays. Every
Yeah.
single booth I saw really was.
Yeah,
4K
I think we're far
displays.
enough in the Pro's life cycle that it was kind of to be expected this time.
Sure,
I think the concern last year was the Pro was coming out, and the stuff we were seeing at E3, was it on a Pro, was it not on a Pro? I think
Sure,
that's where
sure.
more of that concern was.
All right. Anything else at Capcom?
Nope, just those two things. I mean, I guess we could talk about playing Marvel last night.
Marvel, baby.
It's Marvel, baby. Yeah, I mean, I guess the demo's up for anybody that wants to try it. But
Right.
we did download the Marvel story demo, which is like 5 stages, and they set your characters each time. You're just playing against like dummy Ultrons. So it's hard to get a really good feel for it because all of the dummies die in like 2 hits. But I thought it was just decent. Yeah.
Decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny. We were testing out. You managed to snag a Razer arcade stick for review.
Yeah, like I had an appointment with Razer today to check out their new headphones, which we do have a story up on the website for that. And I got to try those today, and they're really really good. I can't wait to. But it was a weird environment, so I really didn't get to use them fully. But we were kind of talking about, like he was asking about other stuff, and we were using these fighting sticks, and because they just revealed a new Street Fighter V one today that they worked with Capcom on, and they had this other one, and I said, "Oh, these are really nice. Like, who makes these?" They go, "Oh, these are ours. Razer make them." I'm like, I didn't know you guys did fighting sticks. So we talked about it, and he goes, "Well, if you want, we can send you one for review." I'm like, "That'd be great." I go, "We would love to check them out." All of a sudden, he walks over the corner and he grabs his fighting stick and says, "Here you go." And I went, all right. So I put it in my bag, and I'm walking around with this big-ass, heavy fighting stick for half the day. So Andy's going to review that for us. But
Yeah.
you messed around with it tonight, would you?
Yeah,
think?
it was best. It seemed really good.
Nice.
It's got a lot of features. You can open it up, and they've got an extra
Yeah.
ball top, so you can do the arcade-style ball top with a round one.
Yeah.
If you wanted to change out the buttons, it's pretty easy to do.
The tools in there to change the gate out, apparently. I don't know how much the gates are, or if you have to use a specific one or not.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it opens up like my Mad Cats, and it seems cool. I like that the start and share buttons are on the side instead of on the back. But
Otherwise,
Seems
I mean, it
good.
seems fully featured compared to some of the other ones I've used.
nice long cable came with it. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So,
And it's you can take off the cable, store it on the inside, so it's not
yep.
dragging cables everywhere.
I think that's the same cable that's on my Mad Cats.
Yeah, it does look pretty similar.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of cool that we have that, so we can mess around with that for the next few days. But, yeah. And then, well, shit, I got the wrong window open as usual. Capcom. Oh, NASCAR Heat 2. Lucky Dave. Because I had to change my Gran Turismo appointment.
It wasn't as bad. I was a little worried. I was a little worried about it because I don't really get along with driving games too well. But
Yeah.
this one was pretty. Seemed pretty easy. Not easy, but I mean, it has. It's NASCAR, so they're still working on some of the licensing kinks and stuff like that a little bit.
Sure.
There's lots of courses on there. I played Daytona and another one that starts with an E that I can't remember the name
An
of.
E?
An E, yeah. I'm sorry. That was one of the dirt tracks, I believe. So
Oh, I wouldn't.
I was
know
kind of
that.
letting them the two devs kind of guide me, but it will have wheel support, which I guess the first one did have.
I'm pretty sure the first
Yeah.
one did. Yeah.
So it has what they're calling like a dynamic AI, which will adjust as you progress through and start doing things.
And that one, the first game had a lot of problems with AI. A lot of problems. So I'm very interested to see how that's evolved.
Yeah, they're shooting for September
Okay.
for a launch time. They have a lot of DLC planned. I guess the way that they were kind of explaining it to me, because I asked him about like if it was going to be like season pass oriented or anything like that.
Right.
And he said season pass is kind of done on the first party end. So he was making it sound like a season pass wasn't as easy for them to do, or to get like approval to do, I guess. I'd have to re-listen to the audio, or maybe you listen to the audio at that point in time to see your interpretation of it.
Sure.
But they did a lot of DLC packs, I guess, with the first version.
Yes, they did.
And so he was saying anywhere from like $5 to $9 probably.
Some of the DLC was kind of absurd for the first game.
But they did mention free updates as well. So like there will be and when I was asking about the price, he's like, there's going to be some stuff, every month, every couple months, but there's going to be some updates and some free stuff as well.
Cool.
So I mean, the one race I did 3 races, one on each circuit. The NASCAR one I won the race, and
Nice.
it was like they showed some driver score on there. It was only like 4 laps. You can and again, I'm probably going to mess this up, but you can mess with the sliders. So if you're doing like a 10-lap race, you can amp the tire wear and everything up.
Nice.
So that you like if you're doing like 4 laps, you have to get gas after 2.
Yeah.
So you can kind of mess with those settings and stuff on it. Because when I first realized that I chose Daytona and I'm driving and I'm like, wait a minute, I go, how many laps did I just commit to? He's like, just 4. So
Nice,
I was like,
nice.
okay. So the way they had it set up, and then I did a dirt track which had some drifting, and I was doing pretty well on that one, and I took a turn too fast and did a 180.
That'll happen.
So
yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't for me like for the first time playing a driving game in a long time. Like I wasn't like annoyed or put off with it. So
Sure. Oh, that's good.
it was a good thing.
That's good.
And again, I've got audio, the entire thing recorded, so I'll start getting a little more detailed post
Sure.
this week. So.
Sure.
Yep.
Oasis Games over here next, like a block away from here.
That's right. I had a little 20-minute walk off site to the Sheraton Grand something hotel of Los Angeles.
So what did you see with Oasis Games?
I saw 2 games. The first being Hidden Dragon Legend.
Okay.
And that game was a 2.5D side-scrolling beat-em-up brawler type
shit.
samurai game, done very much in the vein of Assassin's Creed Chronicles trilogy.
Okay.
But I think it had
Tell me more.
was a little more.
God damn it.
Assassin's
It-
Creed Chronicles trilogy.
Three
Bring it
of
back to
them.
Assassin's Creed.
I like
So,
that game.
Me too.
I was just playing that game.
What's your favorite?
I just played China. I didn't get to try the other 2.
China was good.
Yeah.
Don't break anything.
Tell me more.
Why aren't you looking at him right now?
This is
So-
getting creepy.
Tell me more.
You have a dash maneuver where you can phase through people.
Yeah.
If from here you'd be able to phase to your seat if you were like the guy in the game.
If I
You know,
wanted to.
If you wanted to. You have a grappling hook
Yes.
that there will be some platforming portions
So I
that
could
you
like
need to
hook onto the top of that chair
Right.
and swing right
That's
over and
it.
sit right in it.
right into the hoop part.
If I wanted to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, heavy and light attacks, and you can combo string all of those things.
Nice.
They change when you're holding a direction, so very combo heavy.
Very nice.
I was gonna play Loving You, but
Oh,
then would get a
man.
YouTube strike.
Yeah.
So
Only
I
for
can't
6
do it.
seconds. So, anyways, I thought it was done a little better than the Assassin's Creed Chronicles games. Obviously,
Okay.
not as much polish.
Blasphemer.
Not as much AAA and AA.
Are we gonna get into all that again?
No.
No.
That's a private joke.
Yeah. Okay. So, that was it for that. But I liked it.
Okay. What was the other
Mhm.
game?
Light Tracer.
Light Tracer.
Yep.
So it does it have like the subtitle of Inker?
No, not that I saw.
Forget it. All right. What was that about?
That was a PSVR game. That's
Okay.
also coming to Vive and Oculus.
Okay. And
It
Can't do it without you now.
yeah, I lost it.
oh man.
So you play as this tiny little princess who she's
You're
kind
his
of
tiny little
platforming, and she's coming up this kind of spirally staircase of
Okay.
of the platforming classics.
I'm in his head now. Great.
He's
So-
not gonna be able to write anymore or anything.
They made me stand up, which was bad because I don't like standing up that much.
Right.
But let me do it here. Actually, I'll give you guys a better picture. Okay.
Of you standing.
So, yeah,
See, now, this is only going to work for the video, and people are going to
Oh,
be
no,
listening
no,
to
no,
the audio
I
saying,
got
what
this.
is he doing?
Yeah, because
No,
now
that's
we're,
fine.
we're worried about video versus audio for this.
I'm not gonna do a whole lot of
No, I got this.
video only
Ah.
stuff.
Emra
Alright.
is standing.
So you can't play with the DualShock 4. You can only use 2 Move controllers.
As opposed to 4?
as opposed
opposed to
Well,
one.
I'm just saying you
To
can't play
one.
with a DualShock 4. That's all.
Oh, you can't
You
play
cannot.
with those? You have to play
You have to play with 2
move.
moves.
You have to have 2 move controls.
2 moves.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is obviously...
Wait.
Oh, boy.
Andy is getting 2 move controllers.
Oh my goodness.
Andy has gone to his bag to grab his move controllers.
There's one.
Emra now has a move controller.
Okay, so check it out.
It's as quick as
Yeah,
I've seen
this'll
Andy.
Now you
work,
can demonstrate.
And holding a microphone and demonstrating with 2 Move controls.
Yes.
That's going to work well.
I'm
Oh
standing
my
here like
God.
this.
Emra.
YouTube.com
VR.
/PS
Oh my
Nation.
God.
Helmet on here.
Take this out of your hands. Let me hold it for you.
I can do it. Okay. So, you play as these 2 kind of
Emra's playing
white glove
electronic
hands,
bukkake.
Okay.
right? Kind of like those hands that you fight on Smash Brothers.
Okay.
So you're playing as
Wait,
2
what?
of those. You know the boss
Oh,
on
I know
Smash
you're
Bros.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of like that. So
Took me a
your
minute. I'm
hands
not
are
much of a Smash
floating.
guy.
Now on the left hand, you're holding the move trigger to move the world around, so you can
Okay.
get good perspective of where this princess is walking up this spiral
This works
staircase.
so well on audio.
You get it?
Yeah, sure.
So
Emra is moving his
on
hands
the
about.
right,
Right
is
hand.
He
this?
had to look at
Move
his
control.
right hand, by the way. He said on the right, and he had to actually freeze and look at his hand to make sure it was his right hand.
the one,
We
the
have
one
video
you,
proof.
the one you write with. That's how I remember.
No more Slurpees before recording.
So you take the trigger on that one, and you are
Right hand is up.
aiming this wand of light. Okay,
Moving
and
his
wherever
hand,
you point that light,
As opposed to
hitting the
a wand
button.
of Skittles, apparently.
wherever you point that light from your wand, and you hold the trigger here,
Uh-huh.
the princess will walk to that point.
Okay.
So you're doing a little bit of this, holding it. Princess
He's
walks.
holding it.
Then you move
So
the
she's
tower
like
around.
a kitten with a laser light?
That's it, and she
Alright.
follows anywhere you go.
All right.
And you got to find the most
Emra's extending
efficient
his arm.
way to get her up that spirally tower. See what I'm doing?
So the princess is
Emma is moving his
stupid enough
arm.
not to be able to walk up a spirally tower?
Yeah, she's pretty dumb.
Just
she can
an
only
idiot.
she can only follow the light.
Yeah, she drinks too much water in L.A. with all that lead in it. and-
Yep. And you have to jump the
So-
gaps.
She's
Well,
the
it's Chicago
she's the
water.
descendant of that girl from Ico.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a glorified VR escort mission.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess so. You're the if you're the gloves is the main character and she's the
Emra is sat
escort.
down.
Anyway, she
Oh my
she
God.
follows the light, and then you hit the button to get her to jump while she's following that light. If you're trying to clear a gap, then you can manipulate other objects and solve puzzles and things like put a heavy box on a lever to open a door with the
Put
other
the light
hand,
on
with
the
left
box.
hand. So yeah, I didn't get sick. So
Well,
I
that's
thought
good.
that was pretty cool.
That's
And
a
both
win for
those
VR
games-
for anybody that does get
Yeah.
sick.
Both those games, they're shooting to get them out for September.
Were they enjoyable?
Yeah, I'm buying them both.
You're buying them both.
Mhm.
You
Well,
don't even
there
have
you
a
go.
VR, do you?
Even if, yeah,
It's still
Even
in
if
the
we
box.
get-
Instead of spending money on food, Emra's going to buy 2 games.
That's right.
That's saying a lot for these
even if we
games.
get review copies.
And this game might
I
make
wanna
him open his
support-
VR.
You haven't opened it yet?
I
No, he-
opened it, but I never really played it.
He didn't like changing the chords.
Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah.
Too much kludge.
Stupid HDR
Yeah, that
blocking
sucked.
box.
Is Emra's electronic bukkake done?
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh. What are we doing here?
I don't know what that was.
Wow.
I wasn't done yet.
Holy crap. Michael, Cartoon Network, which we just got assets for, by the way.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so Steven Universe Save the Light.
Okay.
It's based on the Steven Universe show. It's a popular show on Cartoon Network. It is a sequel to a mobile game that came out last year. I think
Okay.
it was like last year. But now that it's on consoles, they're able to expand on it a lot more with deeper like RPG mechanics to like turn-based RPG. Because I played it on mobile, it was pretty simplified on mobile, obviously, because it's like
Sure. 'Cause
touchscreen.
It's mobile.
Yeah, and it's also like aimed at kids.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So it was a mobile game aimed at kids, so it was really easy, and like the mechanics were really bare bones. But they're deepening the mechanics, extending the gameplay for it. for people that watch the show, they're in the previous game, in the first game, you could only play as Steven and the Crystal Gems.
Okay.
But now you can play as other characters like Connie and Steven's father, Greg.
Okay.
Greg isn't a fighter in the show, so his ability is to play his guitar, which will buff other characters based on what song he's playing. So if you have him in a party, you pick specific songs for him to play, and then they'll heal or do better attack based on the music he's playing.
Okay.
It's really cool because they're able to do before in the first one it was like just like a hub world type thing, but this one they kind of recreated the town of Beach City
Okay.
enough so you can walk around the town. It's not like fully open, but it's like sections of the town can be explored now. So there's a lot of like Easter eggs and like character interactions. Like a lot of the side characters you can talk to, either just to get some like a little bit of like character like interactions, but you know to add like flavor basically. You know.
Sure. Sure.
And then there's some that will give you like side quests.
Okay.
So let's see. The relationships matter based on who you have in the group, how they work together. There's benefits to that because for the gems, they can combine into one character, but they won't only do that if the relationship's strong enough.
Okay.
So you have to balance working the characters, making sure if they can buff each other or if they have dialogue options together to work those in if you want them to combine into a fusion
Okay.
to become stronger. So that plays into strategy. Say you have two characters that are low on health. If you have the chance to fuse them, they become a new character, basically.
But what is the like the core gameplay?
The core gameplay, it's a turn-based game.
Okay.
So you have your character. You have a group of 4, party of 4,
Yeah.
and the enemies, and you just like pick who you're attacking. That you get like 5 turns to
So, like,
pick and.
What's the story? What are you
so-
being attacked by aliens or something?
Yeah.
or-
So in the first game, there was a crystal. Is like a prism.
Okay.
Prism alien. That at the end of the first one, you saved the Prism character, and then now they're back, and it,
Sure.
evil, whatever. And so you're basically exploring Beach City and trying to save everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. They worked with the writers again, so it's been approved by Rebecca Sugar.
You know when you have your microphone over here like this, nobody can hear you, right?
Really?
Well, not much.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the character lines are written by people that worked on like the show. So it's really good. The voice acting is pretty solid.
Cool.
They got all the voice actors for that. I had fun with it. I played it for about like half hour. What is he doing?
Nobody fucking knows. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no.
What is going on
I
tonight?
have no idea what's happening.
What was in those Slurpees?
He doesn't have any reflexes.
Did one of those homeless guys like throw meth in your Slurpees or something?
We were really scared of the homeless people.
Obviously, you didn't bring a straw for Andy.
Yeah, we didn't even drink any of the Fireball yet.
I wasn't scared of him.
No, I just wanted to get out of there.
I pointed out where the Slurpee cups were.
You caused everything.
I did. It was all my fault.
Jeez.
Where was I? Because he was just slapping.
You were at the end of Steven Universe.
Okay, yeah. There's crafting mechanics, pick up weapons, and schematics to build weapons out. It seems like they took the first game that was on mobile and they like fleshed that out
Yeah.
to justify making a console game for it. So that was pretty good. They're aiming for fall. I believe previously it was aimed for summer, but they decided to like hold it back till it's ready.
Okay.
So they're aiming for fall. And then the other game I saw was the OK. I got to look up the actual name because it's for a new cartoon that apparently they just dropped 6 episodes yesterday.
Okay.
Because Cartoon Network does that sometimes where they'll just do like a cartoon bomb where they'll just drop
Right.
a bunch of episodes. Because when I was looking it up before the thing, it said that it was going to come out sometime in August,
Okay.
but they ended up just dropping 6 episodes yesterday.
Well, it's almost like Rick and Morty season 3, episode 1 that they did on April Fool's Day. They just dropped it.
Yeah. So like even they were like, oh yeah, they just dropped the 6 episodes yesterday.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because they're like, have you seen the episodes or anything like that? It's like, I didn't know it was out.
We're
They're like,
E3, of course not.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, well, they just dropped them yesterday. So it's called OKKO.
I actually saw a tweet about that yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it's very video game heavy, like a lot of video game references and stuff like that. So this one is a RPG brawler with card mechanics, like
Okay.
card collection. It's made by Cappy.
Capybara.
Yep, and it was funny because I talked to him and immediately wanted to talk about Critter Crunch
Yeah, exactly.
because that's my favorite Cappy game. So this one, action RPG brawler. This is another thing where they got to work with the studio behind the actual cartoon.
Cool.
And they were let in for a lot of the assets, so they were able to keep the art for the game similar to the actual art of the show.
Nice.
And they got all the voice actors for it.
Nice.
The people that did the soundtrack, I believe, also did for it, so it feels like a part of the show.
Very cool.
So this one, really simple brawler with role-playing mechanics. You level up your character.
Okay.
The thing is, you collect trading cards, which are of the other characters in the show.
Okay.
And when you have the trading card, you can slot in the demos too.
Mm.
And when you use them, it calls an assist.
Okay.
And the other characters, like one of the characters, like I called the assist, and he drove an ice cream truck and like ran everyone over
Yeah.
that was there. And the other assist was like, what's the Streets of Rage mayor? Mike
Streets
Hazard.
of Rage Mare.
Yeah, Mike.
Are you talking about
Hager?
Final Fight?
Final
That's
Fight. Final Fight.
Hager. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the characters is basically Haggard.
Nice.
Just like a shirtless dude with mustache and
Ex-wrestler.
yeah. And his thing was he just came down and just like frog splashed, body slammed type stuff.
Nice.
Each character that you meet, a character in the show, basically it almost feels like a mini episode for their mission they'll give you.
Okay.
To where you're not going to meet a character and they're going to give you like just a simple like go fetch this, like a fetch quest.
Right.
They're actually going to be multi-layered interactions or multi-layered like missions. So it almost feels like a mini episode. So the first one I saw was, or the only one I saw, was the guy's like, hey, can you go check on my van? So you go to his van.
Down by the river
Yeah, no, it was like in a parking lot.
with the unicorn airbrushed on the side.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, no, there was like graffiti on the side of the van. It was like he was just like some dude bro.
Oh, okay.
So you go there, you find out you have to do a stealth mission, so they throw you in a garbage can and you like sneak over there.
Nice.
You find out it's graffiti, so then you have to find out who did it, and then it just keeps going for that specific mission. And I was told like every character interaction mission is going to be like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it seems like a pretty cool game. They're also working for fall.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
it was fun.
Cool. Well, then I had. Is that it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I had an appointment for Gran Turismo, so I go over there and find my place, and they're like, "Okay, well, go sit." They had the full cars set up with the new wheel, which the new Gran Turismo wheel I thought was just a rebranded T300, and it actually isn't. It's got extra force feedback in it, where it now has more on the wheel in terms of back and forth instead of just turning it and having force feedback on that. And they changed the face of it a little bit too and put new flappy paddles on it. So now I kind of want one. But then they were talking about how Kazunori Yamuchi did kind of a presentation before it to explain the new technology in the game and a lot of the stuff I heard at PSX. And then they said that they were going to have all the people that were sitting there in the pods were actually from media, so they were going to have us compete in 2 races. So the first one was the indie variation of Brands Hatch, and this one dude was driving a Viper. I was running a GTR because GTR is a safe car. It's easy to drive, and I was doing great. And this dude in this Viper was just all over the place, and I couldn't believe he kept that on the track the way he was driving. And the PR guy said that he was running all assists, which I had all the assists turned off, and he kept banging into me, and then coming out of the last turn, he just zoomed past me because he hit me again. So he took first, I took second, and then we did a rally race, which I suck at rally races, and he started first, I started second because it was based off the last race, and he was ahead of me for the whole first lap out of 3. We got up to the finish line for the end of the first lap, going to the second. And all of a sudden, I see him come off a jump in front of me, and he like got skewed to the left. And they had like a Gran Turismo shoutcaster. They brought this guy over from England, so he's announcing the whole race, and all of a sudden I hear like, "Oh, he's went into the pits." Well, so he must have like crashed right at the entrance of the pit. If you enter that entrance, it automatically takes you into the pits, and you get slowed way down. So then I led the rest of the race, and I won. So overall, I actually won the whole event. And Andy was my witness.
I was there. I saw it. He won.
But it was kind of cool because they kept saying my name and then PS Nation over and over.
And Glenn from PS Nation
That
is in
was
second.
weird.
Oh, he takes first.
Yeah, that was really odd. I think, well, because the PR guy was trying to troll me a little bit anyway. But he was telling me, like, because the guy that beat me, he goes, the guy that beat me, they were talking to him, and he says, "Well, I've got some real track experience." I swear to God, he said that, and I just wanted to go, "Yeah, all right." So they taught you how to bang into another guy and take him into the wall. It was fun though, man. It's definitely, that build was way different than the beta is right now, and yeah, I'm excited, and they keep saying it's coming out this fall. They haven't given a date yet, but they keep saying it's coming out this fall. So, excited as hell for that.
Do you think that mode that you were playing is going to be like a mode in the game where you can get like 8 of your friends online together and run like 4 races and points based?
I think there is like a builder, because there was something like that in GT6 already.
Okay.
But they have stuff built into the game for competitions and esports, because that's one of the aspects of this game. It's one of the core parts of the game is an esports part of it, because they're even going to do I forget which racing federation that they're incorporated with, but they're kind of the electronics version of, I think, FIA, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to actually get it involved with real racing that close. So they have the tools, and they had it in GT6 as well, to be able to like set up races and have a system set up where you could actually watch the race from different cameras and all kinds of stuff. So I think that's definitely going to happen. It's one of the core concepts of the game they keep talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited though. That was a lot of fun today. I was freaked out too, because like the second race especially, the whole crew from the booth was around me. Like they just surrounded me. I'm like, what's going on here? And they were all like, "Oh, you're not going to use this car. You're not going to use that car." I'm like, because the rally race, I used a Subaru. You use a Subaru when you rally race. That's the common choice. Either that or like a Ford Focus. So yeah, it was cool though. I had fun, and I had Andy there as my support. At least he cares.
He's your own personal shoutcaster.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, whatever.
I tried to periscope it, but there were so many people around you, I couldn't get a good
Not
good
just
look.
that, cell phone coverage this week.
That's true
sucked
too.
with all these additional people.
Not for me. I periscoped all the way through South Hall.
Did you?
Yeah.
Somebody said you need to do that more.
I was
'cause they
like,
were
I'm
watching
going
South
to.
I was
Park.
thinking in my head, I didn't see that on PS Nation, then I remember that you're too special to use PS Nation
Yeah.
for Periscope.
But because you guys said you're using PS Nation, I'm not going to cut somebody off or try to.
No
do
one
it when
periscoped
someone
the whole
else
day
is
on
doing
PS
it.
Nation.
If you try to do it, it won't cut them off. It'll tell you that you're already broadcasting. Just letting you know.
We did earlier, but it was too crowded, and it was just kind of a
okay.
mess.
And MJC's too short to periscope.
Apparently.
Look at the jeans these people are wearing. Wow. Aw, poor MJC.
Nah, the hall Sony was in was so crowded. So most of the time, it was just like, okay, all I could do is really look at the back of Dave's head.
Because
Yeah.
he was just following me to make sure, because I was clearing the path.
Dave the linebacker.
Well, tomorrow morning I'll periscope part of our walk down to the convention center and then right into South Hall, back past the Sony booth and all, because I have an appointment for
That's
God
West
of
Hall.
War. Huh? West
West
Hall,
Hall.
whichever.
Yeah.
Roll Periscope, him Periscoping.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but yours won't work.
It'll work up until we get inside the...
Mine will keep working.
Okay. Actually, Verizon's
course
not
it
been
will.
too bad.
I was actually getting signal today, but I don't know if I got enough to Periscope. 'Cause I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it.
Yeah. I was kind of busy with other stuff.
Yeah. And then Andy
Speaking of which...
got to go over to an offsite where, so I was in with Razer, and all of a sudden I walk out and my phone just starts blowing up, and it's text messages from Andy and text messages from the people that he was supposed to meet with, and they're like, "Well, it's really crazy over here at the JW, so can you meet us somewhere else?" And I'm like, "Oh shit," because then Andy was texting me like, "Hey, I can't find these guys," but you found them, right?
Yeah, so they had us meet across the street at the JW Marriott, And I walk in there. I walk around like 4 or 5 times, and I don't see the guy. And of course, I don't know what he looks like, so I'm like studying everyone's
hate that
badges.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone will have like their badge flipped around. And you're like, do I go up and ask them if they're the person?
I didn't put his phone number in the.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I usually try to do that.
So then finally, I kind of sat down and I'm texting Glenn and looking at stuff and bye, Josh.
Bye, Josh.
And
Went in the
then
bedroom
finally
and
he
closed the door.
he kind of walks past and I look up on my phone, like we both kind of like look at each other at the same time and look at the badges and go, hey, there you are.
Nice.
So we met up and then he goes, yeah, we actually went up and set up at Lucky Strike, which is the bowling alley
There's
right
a bowling
next
alley
there.
up in LA
So
Live, yeah.
he's like, yeah, it's quieter and there's more room up there. So we set up there. So he takes me over to the bowling alley and we're like in the bar area. And he's just got like a laptop sitting on the table with
Nice.
with a couple of games that he showed me on it. And it was kind of funny because afterwards he's like, that's the first time I've ever given a demo in a bowling alley. It's like, well, it's the first time I've ever gotten a demo in a bowling alley. So
Go to Wisconsin; it'll happen all the time.
Is that what you call them now?
What was that?
Is that what you call them? Demos?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You know.
So 2 games. Obviously they're both like smaller indie games, smaller publisher.
Sure.
The first one was called Inside Space.
Inner space.
Inner Space.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was kind of like, so the main mechanic is that you're kind of flying around in this, they call it an airframe, like a little kind of glider thing. And there's kind of like a story built around it where you're talking to this architect and you're kind of flying around grabbing little data pieces, bring it back to upgrade your vehicle and all that kind of stuff. But it's very, very like minimalist graphics. Definitely, what you would consider like an indie kind of thing because everything's like single color and a little bit abstract, but not really. But you're kind of like on the inside of this big orb, so you're kind of flying around, and you'll end up like kind of above where you were, even if you follow the ground the whole way.
Okay.
And then, so you're kind of flying around and gathering this stuff. You're talking to this architect. Eventually, you kind of do some light puzzle solving. Like there's a spot where you can cut through some ropes with the wing of your plane and like knock some stuff down, and then you'll fly through another area and end up in another like kind of inside world. And then once you get in there, you eventually get the ability to kind of dive underwater. So then it's similar controls, but now you're underwater, and there's more things to gather, some more kind of light puzzle solving. Eventually, after enough of kind of finding these things, I opened up what they called a demigod. So it's like big glowing being that was kind of floating around in the water.
Was it that thing that Trump was putting his hand on in Saudi Arabia?
Exactly.
Sounds like a light up orb.
Yeah. And after kind of crashing into that a few times and breaking it open, I like busted out the creator of the space, and there was a little bit more kind of story and that kind of stuff. So talking with the guy there, he was talking about how the story's all like themed around figuring out who created this world, why you're there, all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty interesting. I think it's a little ways. I think he said it's supposed to come out this fall.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty fun. I think it was one of those games that I was kind of playing it going, I think this could work really well in VR. And when I asked him, he's like, I don't know about that. He was worried that people would get kind of motion sick from the whole, you fly upside down and then you look upside down and there's where you just were kind of thing.
He must have talked to Emra.
Probably.
Is he awake still?
Yep.
Oh.
He had to decide whether he's going to lift his head up or bring the mic closer to him.
So both. He's going to
I
bonk
didn't
himself
have
in
a
the
lot of
nose.
slack. Hey, the game that made me the sickest, I got to go see those same devs tomorrow.
Ooh.
Okay.
All
All right, then.
Who got the
They-
Dramamine?
They had 2 years. They're good.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was Inside Space,
And then
Inner
the other
Space.
one was Observer.
Observer. So this was kind of a horror psychological thriller kind of game.
We know about that, Josh.
Yeah, and before I even started playing, the guy gave me the whole backstory. It's 2085 or whatever, and you're this detective and his kid, and the backstory, and it was interesting, but at the same time, hard for me to remember all of it now, especially when you didn't play it myself. It was just kind of him explaining it to me. But basically, in this future society, there's a big corporation that's kind of taken over a lot of the world.
Sure.
And you're one of a few observers who are basically detectives that have the ability to kind of plug into people's minds and figure out what happens. So in this case, you're searching for this missing boy, and you end up the part that I played.
Was his name Jason, and you had to hit
Jason!
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 Jason! Sorry, I had to do
Oh my
it.
god! Now my co-host is gonna hear that and get
No.
mad at me. Sorry, Jason.
Jason.
So I played like a small vertical slice of the game where you end up in this like apartment complex and you're kind of asking around for what happened. There was a murder that happened there. You're trying to figure out what happened to the person that got murdered, and eventually you kind of break your way into the room and you find someone who was injured but not quite dead yet. He's kind of slowly dying.
I'm not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
I'm getting better.
And what do they call it? Mind.
I feel happy.
Brain.
I feel happy. Sorry.
So you plug into his brain, and then that's when it goes into the whole like psychological thriller kind of thing. So it's a lot of what you've kind of seen in sci-fi before, but you're kind of playing it. So you're walking down a corridor, and things will shift out of perspective, or like all of a sudden you'll like flash and be in a different spot, kind of thing. There was a little bit of light puzzle solving in that. Part where I got into a room where each door would bring you back to the same room, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you had to do a specific pattern to get out of the room. And so it's kind of, I guess I didn't quite get to it because maybe this was just too small a vertical slice, but eventually that area would kind of explain what happened to that guy, and then that would advance the story, bring it to the next thing, and so on. But the vertical slice for that was pretty short. It was only like a 5 or 6 minute demo, maybe like 10 minutes. But
Okay.
it seemed pretty interesting. Definitely kind of trying to get into your head with all the kind of weirdness going on while you're inside someone else's head, especially as he's dying.
Sure.
And that one's coming out a lot sooner. That one's, I think he said next month is what they're
Okay.
aiming for. Hopefully, he said that they would be kind of finishing it up in the next few weeks and getting approval and everything. But
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. They were both pretty interesting games. Clearly, like kind of smaller dev teams, but still with some good ideas and
Sure.
some good gameplay in there. Too.
Indie stuff is so rare at E3 this year, so.
Yeah, especially at the Sony booth.
Indeed.
They completely
So
got rid of
sad.
all those indie devs at the Sony
I have a
booth.
feeling part of that was the fact that they tried to pare down things in that booth to begin with because of all the public
Yeah.
editions.
Had to make room for all the stanchions.
Yep. And stuff and junk. So is that it for
Yep,
Oasis?
that was it.
All right. And then I run into Josh in the Sony area.
Yeah, so I went back in there to play some of the games there's a special PR area in the back behind
For
Sony.
media, yeah.
For media, yeah. So I was in there and I played a couple games. One was Star Child.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. It's a side scroller, little platformer.
And that was one of the trailers they showed at the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
It's really neat because it's literally a side scroller, but you're kind of watching it, from afar in VR. But everything it scales, so you can lean way forward and you can see a lot of the detail. I don't know if it's true or not, but when I looked at the character immediately, she kind of turned and looked at me, and he said, "Oh, you scared her or something." But I don't know if he was just screwing with me. But I mean, there were instances where you walk through, and all of a sudden there's like all this crystal, like all these crystal formations, and you can kind of move your head down and look through it, and it's all skewed, and the colors change and everything else. But it was really weird being able to, as a side scroller, move your head over and look down all the way to see where you were going, so you could see if there were any traps or anything like that, and look the other way as well. But it played like a traditional side scroller with the dual shock, hit and jump, that sort of thing. But it's one of those games that originally I thought, well, this is going to be weird in VR. I really don't know if it's going to be a benefit. But it's built around VR, which it makes it work completely. Like they really thought about the mechanics.
Yeah, and you can play it VR, non-VR.
Right.
It's the game. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, it's the one with Ooh La La
See, I
from
don't
Space
see
Channel
that.
5.
You keep
it's
saying
it's
that,
her
and I don't
daughter.
see that.
No, it's her daughter.
All right.
I'm telling you.
I don't understand.
What's that?
I don't understand
You
the reference.
Space Channel 5 from the Dreamcast.
It's Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
And
And
actually,
Space
they
Channel 5
did they put it out on the PS3.
Oh, that's right. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I reviewed it. There's a review on the site. Go look it up.
It's a rhythm game,
cool.
but it had kind of a weird spacey story.
It was
Okay.
awesome.
Wasn't Michael Jackson in the first one?
He was in.
Or one of them?
He was in one of them.
Yeah.
Might have been the first one. I don't remember.
I don't
But
remember
I
anymore.
love that game. It's just so messed up.
Yeah, it was a rhythm game, so I never played it really.
The other one that was right next to it, which is a multiplayer game,
Which I haven't seen yet.
it's cool. It's
Yeah.
called Spark, SPARC.
Okay.
And it's 2 players. You need a pair of Move controllers each, and maybe
Not
I
four,
should get up and
like Emmer's game?
Maybe I should get up and demonstrate it like Ember did.
It's the only way.
No,
Jesus.
I'm not going to do that.
I mean, they're right there, Josh. We can all see them.
But the cool thing is, you and your opponent are standing across from each other
Right.
in this corridor, and there's a ball in front of you, and you grab the ball with one of your hands, and you have a shield on your hand, but when you let go of the ball, the shield is gone.
Sure.
So what you're trying to do is ricochet the ball off the walls and ceiling and everything and bounce it around down towards your opponent and get it to hit your opponent before they block it.
So is it like the thing in Tron Legacy? When, they're throwing the discs at each other, but can you take out
Yeah,
parts
kind
of
of.
the floor and everything?
No.
Okay.
None of that. But the idea is just to hit the person.
Okay.
And they're also throwing the ball at you. You can block it. When your ball comes back, you can grab it, or you can punch it and send it flying back. I figured out later on, just by messing around with it, that if you twist your wrist as you're throwing it, and I said, like wiffle ball, and the guy was like, that's exactly, yes.
Ah, okay.
Because you can throw the ball and get a curve on it, you can get a spin on it. He was saying there was a very difficult move that is really, it's very few people have pulled it off, even by accident. But you can get like a really wicked sinker.
Right.
That'll just go right at eye level at the person, and they pull their hand up to block it, and then it just drops like a rock and hits them in the
Nice.
crotch.
Did you have problems releasing the ball? Were you able to throw the ball? No problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you give some reference on that one? I don't think we talked about that last night, did we?
Oh, no, we didn't. I think we talked about the Switch.
We did.
We periscoped it. Yeah,
Well, nobody
Yeah,
watches
that's
our
right.
periscopes.
No,
though.
we didn't Periscope that part.
Oh, you
We
still have
didn't-
the video, though.
I have the
That
video.
part,
It's just
yeah.
sitting on my
Okay.
phone right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to get that to...
Josh is
Go ahead
bad
at
at
some point.
baseball
You'll have to do
in
that.
1-2 switch.
Oh, okay. And then you took it from my hands, and you couldn't make it work either.
But it was working
And
fine, then
Emra-
you used it.
And
Well,
then
but-
Emmer took it from my hands, and he couldn't make it work.
Could
And then
anybody
everybody
expect
went.
Swick to even be able to throw a ball?
Oh.
I mean, come on. Let's be. Look at him.
And then
Look at
once after about 10 minutes of this, they all figured out. Oh wait, no, you're supposed to hold the button the whole time. These two who had just been playing this for 20 minutes
Whatever.
couldn't
This-
figure out what
The
the
Switch
controls
lady
were.
was giving us the instructions the whole time.
Yeah, we were listening to the Switch Lady. Switch Lady's a damn
Switch
liar.
lady knows what's up.
Okay.
God.
All right. But that's a fun game. It's a workout.
Yeah.
Depending on, how much you get into it. As it gets harder, you're ducking and dodging and trying to block the ball and everything. It's pretty cool.
Nice. And then the game that you made sure I had to play.
Yeah. Then I played the Inpatient, which is a prequel of sorts to Until Dawn. It's set in the same universe, 60 years earlier. The year is 1950.
Ish.
Did it say on that calendar? I thought it did. It said February
5th or 6th.
But
Yeah.
I thought it had the year on it.
You
too.
did, but I don't remember what it is anymore because I kept looking at it.
Yeah, I think it's and
That's like 54.
it looks so good.
It looks outstanding. Yeah, it's very immersive.
So you're, and it's written by Larry Fessenden and Graham Resnick, the
Yep.
guys who wrote Until Dawn. I've already reached out to them to see if we can get them on again, because I think it's awesome that they did that. There is a very short interview with one of the people from Supermassive
Nice.
that will be
At
interview
the end
number
of the
2,
podcast,
stuck
yeah.
at the end of the podcast. So the crazy thing about it is you are a patient at this asylum and you wake up in the asylum. You have no idea how you got there. You don't know why you're there or who you are or what's going on.
Yep.
And you have to kind of try to piece things together. And it has the butterfly effect.
Yep.
But they're going even more deeper than they did
Yeah.
in the first one in terms of the effect, so that there will be a lot of more different endings and very, very different outcomes, where with Until Dawn they all kind of led to the same thing,
Right.
with just slightly different outcomes, or people would die along the way. This is a very personal, intimate story. Everything is first person, and that's why they had to do it in VR, why they wanted to do it in VR. And it's intense. Like, right off the bat, you're sitting in this chair, you're strapped down to this chair, and this doctor comes, and I was leaning forward when I started playing.
So was I, and then he leaned
So
away,
was
and I'm
even
like,
worse,
whoa.
yeah. The doctor leans right down in your face, and it's so creepy with the lighting.
It is.
And having a person right up in your face.
Well, and also there's a guy in the shadows the whole time too, and you're like, what the
Yeah.
hell? What is this guy?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm not even going to spoil any of the stuff that goes on in it, but
Yeah.
it gets creepy. It gets really cool. I was happy with the way, because the first 5-10 minutes of it,
It's just you making choices.
you're in a chair, and I thought, and you're being wheeled around, and I thought, oh, is this how they're going to get around, like, locomotion in this game?
Right, right.
And then all of a sudden you have to stand up and start to move around,
Yeah.
and it works really well.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that at all. And the choices you make, it's interesting because, you basically have to look left or right to choose one and hit a
Yeah.
button. But behind where it says the statement is another word like cautious or guarded or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was telling us that, E3 is not the best way to do what they want to do, but they want to actually have voice recognition.
Yeah.
So that you actually say cautious and it'll just pick it up and you don't have to actually hit a button at all to make these choices.
Yeah.
Which is interesting as hell,
Yeah.
especially the way the game is built. So
So it's going to get you even more immersed into the game.
yeah, it's creepy as fuck.
It is. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm so excited.
Well, I don't know
to
if you
play
noticed
game.
this, and this is no spoiler because they don't know what I'm talking about, but when you're being wheeled,
Mhm.
I looked over to my right,
Yeah.
and that was the room that you kept waking up in. Because at one point when I was in there, I
Yeah.
turned way around and there were 2 boxes, and those boxes were in the room that was
Yeah.
the door was open. I was like, "What
Well,
the shit?"
I
And I don't know if you saw it, but I pointed at it. And I'm like, "Wait a second."
I turned around. I kept looking back at the guy
Yeah.
who was wheeling me. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
It's neat. It's
Really intense.
Yeah.
No, it's VR only.
VR
right?
only, yeah.
So it's a prequel to Until Dawn, but VR only.
It's set in the same universe. I don't know if it's
I don't think it's a direct
specifically
prequel.
a prequel. It's just set in the same universe in that asylum that was a big part of the game.
Right.
And it's like 60 years prior to the game, to the events of the game.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty intense. It's cool.
And then we played that squad.
We both played Bravo Team.
Bravo Team,
Yeah.
which is another super massive game. This was also shown at the press conference. And it's VR only as well. It
Yes.
uses the aim controller if you have one.
Yep.
And you're a soldier in this squad. And the demo we played, you actually play in co-op with somebody else that also is in VR with the aim controller or whatever. And he didn't know what other control schemes there were because he wasn't a producer on the game. The guy was working the booth. But you don't actually move yourself. You actually point at something, hit the button to move up to the next cover. And then you can pull yourself out of cover, whatever. but you're using that aim controller kind of like you do in Farpoint, where you look down the sights and try to shoot these guys. I mean, it's early, but I really liked it. It got a little glitchy at points, but again, it's early. But I had a good time with it. Like just taking these guys out, and the AI was pretty good. Like you could even hear, you could talk to each other because the microphone's built into the VR headset. And he was like, "Well, there's a guy to your left, or there's a guy up on top of the bridge, and you're trying to take these guys out." Reloading was pretty easy. You would find a box with ammo, and you'd actually use the face buttons from the regular controller on the aim controller, so they're on the back, and you would just look at it, and it would light up yellow, and you'd hit X, and you would go over and reload or replenish your ammo. But it was a short demo. It was really cool how it happened. But Josh had a good point about how kind of disorienting it was from time to time when he would run up to your next cover point.
Yeah, because even right from the start, you're sitting on the ground. Your character is sitting on the ground. You look down and you can see your legs and everything, and the other person is next to you.
Yeah.
And then it's time to start the mission, and your character stands up, but your viewpoint doesn't change.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what just happened? So, like, both people stood up, and I'm looking around on the ground like I have no body here. Was that me? Am I me? What am I? What happened? And you run to the first cover point, and then you're in first person again. Like you're in that mode there. And when you look to another cover point, you'll see a little icon show up. You hit the button, and suddenly you pull out of the body runs over to that point, and you drop back into the body again. So it's a little disorienting.
I have a feeling that could
getting
change.
used to.
Yeah. It was really the because of the viewpoint, because you see that and you think that you're going to be aimed at in one direction, and then you get up there and you're actually like looking somewhere else when you go back into your eyes. And you're like, oh wait, where am I going?
Yeah.
Because you can't really set up the shot ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I liked what it was. I mean, it's very promising.
Yeah.
But it was definitely early.
Yeah, it is. But it looks cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
Is it a PvP kind of game, or is it a squad-based game against the environment?
It's
Two-player
two
co-op
people.
against computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a story.
Yeah.
Kind of like the old rail shooters, like Time Crisis, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just wondering because it like Team Bravo kind of looks like more team-oriented, but I was just curious.
Yeah.
I mean, you're with a squad, but it didn't really give us too many indications about stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like as of now, nobody's been able to or hasn't done it yet of more than 2 players.
And who knows, it might be more.
Right.
I mean, you have other AI partners, but you never see them while you're playing, just at the beginning.
Okay.
But, no, I like the promise of it.
And that time of the afternoon became that Sony booth became the place to be.
Yeah.
As Jack Black walks in
Tim Schafer
with Tim
and Jack
Schafer.
Black is there with his kids.
Josh Scher, who was one of the writers, the main guy for Uncharted 4.
Yep.
He's the one that I sat with in New York, so I saw him and I went over and talked to him and geeked out about the game because the last time I saw him was like a month or 2 before the game came out.
Yeah.
And then I got to go back and talk to him about everything that I went through.
And I got to talk to Neil Druckmann earlier
Yeah,
than
Neil
that.
was there. Neil was right with him, so I was talking to 2 of them.
I talked to Evan Wells this morning.
Evan was there, and Brian Deckert, who is Connor, the one of the 3 main characters in Detroit. He's the cop. He's the
Nice
one
guy.
we've seen a lot. He's so much fun.
And very enthusiastic about the game.
Yes, he is.
It's really cool. We're going to try to talk to him on Thursday.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go see Detroit, and we're gonna talk to him right after that.
Yeah.
And not about the game so much, but about the experience.
Right.
Because we don't want to really get into the specifics of the game and anything that might get spoiled.
Right.
But we want to talk to him about that whole process, about how he got the job, what it was like, what he went through.
All the mocap sessions.
Because it was a full year of mocap sessions just for him. So it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was cool because then, I played GT back there, and then I played NAC 2, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It feels so much more solid now, just the combat and a lot of the new mechanics they put in there in co-op mode. And then I played Everybody's Golf as Shuhei. So I played like 5 or 6 holes of that, and I did pretty well. And then I watched Detroit for a while. I haven't had it. There was never a spot open, so I didn't get to play it yet, but I'm going to go back and try to play that.
Yeah, and that demo that's available back there is what I saw last year.
Yeah, the hostage situation up on the roof.
Yeah, and that's the what was awesome about that. So Glenn and me and Brian are standing there watching it,
Oh,
watching this girl play.
yeah.
And she's doing really well. She found all these clues, and she took her time in the apartment, got outside, went through the whole thing, and at one point it said 94% chance of resolving peacefully and everything. And then things kind of went south, and the android started to fall backwards with the girl, and she's running and hitting the button trying to catch the girl. She missed her, and both of them fell off the roof. And she, as Connor, missed them, and she's sitting there like, oh. And he walks right up next to her and leans
just gives her a
in right
look.
next to her and gives her a look. And she's like, what? And he's like,
It was great.
I can't believe you did that.
You killed that little girl.
So he's sitting there trolling everybody in the booth, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And then, well, I'm going to mention this. I don't know. Should I mention this?
Well,
What?
well, he can.
No,
No.
don't.
Crash.
Crash? What about Crash?
Oh, yeah, we didn't
Talk about Crash?
You can talk about
yesterday.
that
Isn't
now.
the embargo up now?
because I couldn't talk about it yesterday. That's right, I forgot.
I got to talk about my stuff, too.
Yeah, so Crash Bandicoot.
According to
Standard
YouTube, you're the
Punk.
worst Crash Bandicoot player in the
He's gotta
history
do-
of
Fuck
Crash
yeah.
Bandicoot players. Which is kind of funny, but...
Yeah, I love it.
No, this is PS Nation, not kind of
Oh,
funny.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We actually do a PlayStation podcast. Oh.
Ooh, zing.
So the big thing that was spoiled was that Coco is playable.
Yeah. In all three games.
games. Because she was initially only playable in the third game. So the trick to that is that grew out of the developers wanting it. A bunch of the developers said, we want this. And the producer looked at the timelines and everything and was like, it's not going to happen. She's like,
Yeah.
there's just no way we can do that. And they have game jams at the studio every once in a while. And during one of them, one of the developers was like, fuck this, I'm going to go make this work. And he
Nice.
prototyped it out and came back and showed everybody, and everybody was like, damn, that really looks good. Like, we have to do this now. So they found a way to squeeze it all in.
Nice.
And it was a lot of work because, there's not much with her in the third game. And they really had to expand on all that and put her in all these different situations and kind of get to her personality and what she was like. And they wanted it to be like that feeling from 20 years ago when you first played Crash the first time and you saw all his moves and all the way he reacted to things and his idle animations and everything that is Crash and
Yeah.
all that discovery. And they wanted that with Coco. So there's a lot of very specific things to her which are really cool, and it doesn't really affect the gameplay negatively in any way. It's she's the same size as he is, and it's the same metrics and everything, but she just, like where Crash will spin with his arms, she spins with her legs more.
Right.
And where Crash will jump up and basically do a belly flop on enemies, she'll flip up and land on her butt. Because she's a little smarter than that to land. She doesn't want to land on her face. She's going to land on her butt. She's always got her laptop with her, and she uses that at times. She holds it above her head, and she'll do all kinds of cool things. But she can't. You can't put her in every situation. She doesn't fight the bosses. at least in the first game or two, because it would break the story.
Right.
Their animal levels are each still their own, so she won't take those away, and Crash won't take hers away. And when you enter those levels, when you go to enter those levels, you have an icon in the corner with each of their faces. And if you open up a level and switch to one of them and you can't go in there, there'll be like their face will be crossed out, basically saying they're not available for this level. She's not available right off the bat. You have to unlock her after the first boss. I think it's the first boss in both the first two games. And then she becomes available, and you go back to any of those levels and play as her. But it's cool. She plays really well, and the game looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Considering they had to build this from scratch.
Emmer seemed to like it.
Yeah, I did.
They built it from scratch because they didn't have any of the code, and they had just a bunch of developer diaries and little bits of things, and they were at the point where they went frame by frame. They would do video of the original games and then go frame by frame to make sure that they got the animation of Crash right. And they had one sub-team dedicated entirely to Crash.
Wow.
Throughout the entire project, just getting the feel of it right. Because you could tell immediately, somebody who's played the game, that it's just not right.
Right.
When you try it, so they'd keep tweaking it, and they'd get it to a point where, okay, this seems right, and then they'd get into the second game, and they'd get to like a certain level in the second game, and they're like, no, it's off. No, now we have to tweak this, and we have to fix this, and we have to.
Oh man.
It was just, and they iterated all the way through, but it was they developed in order. They developed the first game, then the second, then the third.
Sure.
But it's cool. Like right off the bat, 3 platinums for all you trophy hunters.
Trophies.
They got, a special okay from Sony to do that. Right off the bat, all 3 games are unlocked, and you can just start any of them.
Right.
Time trials have been added back into every level, 80 some levels.
Somebody in the comments said that you don't understand time trials when you pick up that clock, and I'm like, yeah, he does.
I do. I was dicking around.
Yeah, people don't realize that you're usually talking to somebody when you're doing these gameplay sessions too. So
yeah,
but they know better.
Of course. Yeah. Well, they expect that I'm like playing the game to win.
Yeah.
I'm playing.
You're trying
the
to
game
do a speed run, aren't you?
Yeah.
Break a world record.
I'm playing the game to show off stuff to people, and I'm stopping in areas, and like that whole thing with Crash. And Emma was watching the video, and I said, "Watch this, watch this." And it came to this point where he goes sliding across the ice, and I turned and I slid back the other way, and then I turned and I slid back. So I'm sliding all over the ice, left and right, just to show off on the video, just to show off the lighting and the reflections and all the stuff they added.
But you lost 12 seconds.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
care. But yeah, it's going to be out in like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Like the
at this
30th, I
point.
think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it looks amazing.
It does. Looks outstanding.
It really does. I'm very, very happy with how that came out.
Yeah. And then while you were doing that, I was checking out the campaign for Call of Duty World War II, which I don't have all the details in front of me. I have to transcribe what I heard, but basically it starts on D-Day, and it goes for 1 year, only in Europe. It doesn't touch on the Pacific theater whatsoever. It follows a squad. Actually, I think it follows a platoon, but they try to make it a very personal story. One of the things that I thought was pretty interesting was every mission that you deal with, every locale that you go to, is based on stories from these real locations and from these real missions, but you're not representing the actual like squad or platoon that may have encountered whatever it is. So if you're at the Battle of the Bulge, you may not be with 101st, but it's still that story told from your eyes, even though it's not like historically accurate down to that level. but they're trying to actually go for realism in a Call of Duty game. So there's obviously some compromises. But all the weapons that are there are actual World War II weapons. They really went down to a lot of detail. I even saw that one of the multiplayer maps is actually a point to hawk, which is pretty interesting. But it starts at D-Day, kind of goes down into the western side of France, and then back over into Belgium, and ultimately into Germany.
Saving Ryan's privates.
Sure. One of the and then I got to see part of a campaign mission where they're trying to actually liberate this little town in France, and you have to get up into this bell tower where there are a couple snipers. Clear that bell tower out, and then try to escort one of your squad over who's trying to go over and take out some anti-air weapons. So you have to cover him from up on in this bell tower. Very visceral, very effects wise, very more or a lot more realistic and a lot more gritty. Just a lot more interaction than you've seen in the past with some of these games. Obviously, there weren't grenades going off like there were at the press conference, but it looked fantastic. It really did. I'm very excited for this one. I'm a World War II guy, so I'm excited as hell that the series is going back to World War II. We didn't get to see the multiplayer at all when we had this thing. Now, I think multiplayer is playable at the Activision booth, so I need to make my way over there and play it. But they're doing a whole new thing with, instead of having create a class, they have this new thing called headquarters, which is kind of your social hub as well. But they really didn't get too deep into it, so I have to go check that out and just kind of figure out what's going on with it. And then also there's zombie mode, but they haven't really released too much about that. But one of the other guys that was in the appointment kept asking about that stuff and kind of eating our time up a little bit. And they were like, "We're not talking about that yet. We're not talking about that." And he kept asking. I was like, "All right, dude, enough." But one of them brought up that they had heard that there was co-op in the game, and they said, "No, there's not co-op in the campaign. Zombie mode is co-op." So they did make that point the other day. Obviously, I haven't gotten anything written up yet because I was editing podcast and video and stuff, so I haven't had time to write it up yet. But it is really exciting. I'm actually pretty excited for this one myself. So far, I'm very anxious to play it. Multiplayer, we'll see. I'm actually more interested in the fact that they're going from such modern everything in the past Call of Duties for multiplayer that back down to World War II, and I'm wondering how that's going to affect all the esports and all the the championships that go on. And all.
Are you going to have weed sprays on your gun if it's World War II? Yeah,
well. I'm curious if they're going to move to this for the new seasons or if they're going to stick with the futuristic stuff. Because, the gameplay mechanics are insanely different in this, obviously. No jetpacks or any of that shit.
They didn't have jetpacks in World War II?
No. Well, unless you watch The Rocketeer.
You aim the flamethrowers down.
Yeah.
And then...
Man, the flame effects in this new one, holy shit. But really, really cinematic. It was very cool to watch. I definitely wanted to play it. I'm like, can I play it? And it was great because the last 20 minutes of the appointment, it was the two founders of Sledgehammer Games, Glenn and Michael, and we ended up just nerding out about World War II for 20 minutes, about sites we've been to and everything. So it was a lot of fun. I could have sat there all day with those guys. But it's cool. It's cool to see the passion that these guys are bringing to this series and to this game, and the work they went through to learn about these different battles. They had the guy that founded the World War II Museum down in New Orleans, which is one of the better ones in the country. Actually, I'd say it's probably the best one in the country besides the Smithsonian. And he actually took them on a tour of Europe and into Germany and showed them a lot of the battle sites. They went into the Ardennes. They went, around these locations in France, and they went to Pointe du Hoc and a lot of places I've been. So it's cool. It was really neat. So I definitely want to look at more of that this week. Check it out. But that's it for Call of Duties. Did I see vehicles in the multiplayer? I have no idea, Greg. I've not seen the multiplayer yet.
Yeah, between the two of us, we'll get that figured out in the next day or two.
Yeah, I just got to make my way over there.
Yeah, I have an appointment with Activision, so
Right, between appointments. I definitely want to go over there and play it, and I've been asked to go over there and play it. So
I think that's one of the 4 games at the Sony booth too.
right.
I didn't see.
It's there.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's like a
It is.
6v6 mode for it, or like a
Well, I think the problem is none of that. I mean, that's all on the floor at Sony.
Yeah.
Activision, I think they have a back room.
right, and
So
you have to
that'll
use the
actually-
app to get to the Sony thing. So
Yeah.
that didn't look like it was going too well today for the public.
It usually doesn't. It usually doesn't go very well at all.
Yellow
can I-
badges.
Yeah, those damn yellow badges.
Can I go over Evil like real quick?
Oh yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
bring that up.
Okay. So we got an opportunity to see Evil controllers.
Evil.
Yeah. So the company is 10 years old.
Right.
So we were talking about it earlier. So what's really interesting about this controller, the Evil, I'm on their site again. Sorry, I got crossed up. Evil Shift, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, it is. It's called the Evil Shift. So this has 2 buttons on the left side and the right side where your hands wrap around the base of the DualShock.
Right.
And those are mappable. You can map or change those.
Did he say how you map them? I mean,
He did. He showed me. So
is it all like on the controller? Or do they have like software you have to do it
no,
with?
it's all on the controller. You
Okay.
push the share button. You hold down the share button, and then you hold down the button that you want to. Or I'm sorry, you hold the share and the new button at the same time,
Okay.
and then you press the button that you're moving to that button you were holding,
Okay.
and it
Cool.
does that. It also holds up to 15 unique profiles in the controller.
Jesus.
Yeah, so you can have a certain profile for Call of Duty and a certain profile for racing and a certain, and it's all numbered that way.
Wow. Okay.
Unlike some of the scuffs and stuff like that, you can remap any button to these buttons,
Yeah.
including the directional buttons and including L3 and R3.
But we don't know about the share button
Why would you want to redo the share button?
because those things are right down there. It's much easier. It's much easier when you're holding a controller.
Sure.
I would think to where your fingers are resting underneath to hit a share button.
But
than to
knowing
reach
me,
your
I would hit that
thumb up.
accidentally all the time.
Well, you would.
Yeah.
This
But
is the controller is
rather
designed.
than reaching up and hitting the share
Yeah.
button because
no, I get it.
The thought process is
It's
for
easier for me.
esports and
Yes,
and so
I know, but-
so that's where that comes from.
I already broke his whole scheme.
You can also map the touchpad.
Nice.
So I was
That'd
very
be cool for share. Just
Yeah.
jump up and hit the touchpad quick.
I don't know if you can make the touchpad share. So that's like,
I'm
Josh
not
said that.
buying it.
Josh said that to me, and I was like, why would I ask? Why would I ask him where to map the screenshot button? But that's a Langford question, obviously.
Well, it's the first button I thought of.
But so and these buttons are like he was showing some stuff that he was showing me a lot of comparisons. It was very Xbox heavy because he's been doing Xbox 360 controllers for a very long time.
Okay.
He's done some DualShock 3s, but he has struggled to get the DualShock 4 correct. He's
Okay.
been working on it since he got his hands on a DualShock 4, and he was really having he was telling me he was really having a hard time with the form factor of the controller, trying to maintain that because he fully mods stock controllers.
Okay.
And based on what I saw, it looks like there's like maybe like 5 or 6 of them that do this.
Nice.
So he's very, very passionate about it, and it's very interesting. I immediately thought of you when I was
Yeah.
meeting with him because you do not have to put your fingers on the triggers at all if you
Right.
choose not to. And it's a little different than like the paddles or even the smaller buttons like you have on your Control Freak or other. He does have a line of controllers that have those very small, like, I don't even know what would look, but it's just the very small buttons.
Yeah, little nubs.
And these are almost like trigger style that where
Right.
you can
Right.
touch them from any direction to where you could have your hand wrapped around the controller entirely and just kind of like squeeze your hand and squeeze your knuckles together, and it would any direction it would still trigger them. And he also changes the face buttons to click face buttons.
Yeah, and I was saying that Razer, we know. So there were 2 OEM controllers that came out in Europe that you and I had talked about in the past, like, and one of them is Razer, and he actually had one of those today at my appointment. And he says they're trying to get the US PlayStation to approve them so they can release them over here. But he had one, and I got to mess around with it, and the 4 face buttons are now mechanical, almost like the click keyboards. Oh man, they felt good. I was like, holy shit, this is really nice. But they have 2 additional like kind of triggers on the back,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have a little adjustment you can make so that the pullback on the R2 is quicker.
He has that on this one as
Yeah.
well. But his biggest thing that he was like kind of like comparing to was the Evo controllers don't require any app programming. They don't
Right.
require any tools, like any additional tightening or loosening. The way that he has them set up and the way he's been modding them is that you can get that, you can tap the trigger
Yeah.
and get the quick firing if you want, but you can also do the full pull on the trigger as well.
Sure.
Because he was comparing it like if you tighten up like a scuff and then you all of a sudden are in a shooting game, like let's say you're playing Titanfall and you jump in the mech, all of a sudden the mech's going like 80 miles an hour
Right,
and you're
right.
barely squeezing the trigger.
Andy's
So,
falling asleep.
The thing that I was like most like floored about, and this is the first time like
Fuck
I
you, Slick.
picked up other controllers, but you're kind of always in a closed environment where you only have that controller. Like he
Right.
had an original DualShock, an original Xbox, and he had an Xbox Elite controller and everything. And just picking him up, he removes the rumble feature from the controllers.
to make them lighter, right?
Yeah, well, to make them lighter, and from a competitive shooting standpoint,
Right.
those guys turn the rumble off anyways because it messes with their ability to continue their shots and everything like that.
Or at least they say so.
Yeah,
I'm
well.
just kidding. Greg Peavy, by the way, says the share button is probably the least used button, but Greg Peavy, you don't have a website that you have to take screenshots for, so it actually is a little more
Yeah.
important for us.
I take hundreds of screenshots.
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
some
we
games.
use it a
crazy.
lot.
Yeah. But just the weight
So-
of the controller was very interesting to me.
Hold on. So Greg Peavy, you're wrong, sir. You are wrong. I had to point at the camera. Sorry. All right.
The thing that I was actually most floored about was like how, with the modded controller versus a standard DualShock, how heavy a standard DualShock was compared to that,
Right.
and then how much it feels like a freaking brick the Xbox Elite controller feels like.
It's heavy. Well, plus when you got to put the double A's in there.
Yeah, I was just kind of, and he's in the prototype stage right now. He's hoping to he's shooting for the end of summer this year for the DualShock 4. He's still
Oh,
trying to get some
okay.
more community feedback, but also he has changeable
Nice.
analog sticks that have different heights on them.
Oh, okay.
So for the raised, like Control Freak does the same thing where you can click, you can put covers on top of your analogs and get one higher than the other one.
Yeah.
So again, it's
I messed
easier-
with that a little bit on my Xbox Elite, and I didn't like it. I
Yeah.
just put the originals back.
It's easier to aim. I have a set of Control Freaks that I got recently,
Yeah.
so it helps, to have it on one. But it was very interesting. Like I've been, as I've been playing more and more shooters, I'm seeing scenarios where I feel like, if I could just have reached that a little faster or done that a little faster, and that's what these are supposed to do, where you don't have to put your hands on top of the
Dave,
triggers.
none of that stuff will help your game. You're just not good.
Yeah. So, but he's very big. He's very big into making gaming accessible for everybody. He's got this whole kit that he has for for gamers with disabilities, where he
Sure.
can he has a device that you can play with your feet. He was telling me about a guy that could he made a mouth guard for
Sure.
that he could play the game with his tongue. With stuff like that, so it was very cool.
Nice.
He's very passionate about. I think he said that he's modded like 400 controllers for physically
Wow.
disabled people.
Wow.
So like he's cut a controller in half before because he had a customer that couldn't bring their hands together, but they could hold their hands apart. So he literally pretty much cut a controller in half,
Oh wow.
and he was able to still make it so it would work and stuff like that. So
Wow.
it was
Very
very cool. It was a company I had not heard of, but based on, again, obviously he knows how to sell his items, but what
Sure.
he had compared to what the competition has, that this looks pretty high end. So
Nice. Yeah. Hopefully, I can meet with him this week. All right. Are we done, boys? Anything else we want to talk about?
Nope.
Yeah, we'll bitch about
Nope.
the yellow badges
Ugh,
tomorrow.
Jesus, gosh.
I really didn't have much of a problem.
Yeah, but you're like in the one hall or the one area.
No, I walked throughout the entire place throughout the day, and
First time I watched
mean,
the
I
South
saw
Hall, it was
them.
terrible.
I saw them everywhere, which I was surprised at how many I saw, because they stand out with those yellow badges. But still,
I got blocked in the Sony booth. I couldn't get out.
can we call them honey badgers?
It's a good one. I like that one.
Well, I almost knocked one guy over because he stopped short of me like at PAX.
I saw a guy almost take out one of the dev consoles.
Yeah, what was that whole story in the Microsoft booth?
I was in the Microsoft booth just trying to seeing what they had in there. And I saw one guy rounding a corner holding an open bowl of chili nachos, and another guy rounding the corner with an open Monster, and the two of them nearly collided and nearly fumbled their food into the dev console sitting right there.
That's why we can't have nice things.
I will talk about Lego Worlds tomorrow because we're going to Warner Brothers tomorrow, and I will know
Legos.
more about that.
I will fall asleep.
Jeez.
You were already asleep.
I didn't actually fall asleep. I just closed my eyes.
To save
No, you were out.
to save Lego Worlds to the end of the podcast when
If I
you
was
will
out, I'd be
fall
snoring.
asleep.
No, I'm going to do it right at the beginning because I want Andy out.
Oh, I thought you just wanted to leave early. So you're just going to get all your shit out of the way and leave.
That's
Or maybe
a better
just
idea.
look longingly into Emmer's eyes the rest of the night.
Well, yeah, I'm going to finish
get
it all
down
up
with
early,
that.
and then I'm going to sit at Emmer's feet.
Okay, when you do your Lego Worlds, Emmer's going to show you his hot Just Dance moves the entire time.
As long as we can make down on one a trending hashtag.
I already looked up the hashtag. It's all for proposals.
I know.
So yeah.
Oh,
What does
boy.
that have to do with
Shit's
proposing?
getting weird. All right. Well, I think we'll end it tonight. We're going to have 2 interviews after this. So when we're done, check those interviews out. They're pretty short, I believe. Like about 5 minutes each, something like that.
No, the first one's like 20 minutes or
Oh,
so.
okay.
The second one's probably about 5 minutes.
Okay. So we'll have that at the end of it. Obviously, it won't be on the video, but we'll have that on the regular podcast. Thanks for all these nutty people that sat and watched and made all these crazy comments.
It's only 2 a.m. on the East Coast. It's all good.
Yeah, fuck it. Thanks for listening. Again, this was day 2, or we're officially day 1 of E3, but our day 2 for podcasting. We got 2 more days here. We have a lot more stuff to see, a lot more stuff at Sony to see, like Spider-Man, God of War, Detroit, all kinds of stuff. And what? What am I missing now?
Destiny 2, Call of Duty.
You're missing Emmer trying to stay awake with like the pea shivers. He's like,
Why are you pointing at me?
I'm trying to think about whatever else you had.
Nah, stuff and junk.
Hopefully the audio on the video is better tonight. I think it will be. It sounded like it was all right. But thanks a lot. And if anybody has any questions, stuff like that, shoot us an email, podcast@psnation.com. Check out our continuing coverage on the website at psnation.com and let us know what's going on in the forums. And I guess until tomorrow. Oh, by the way, Jehonius, holy shit, thanks a bunch. Jehonius on PayPal dropped us $100 today, so we can go buy a round of
Emmer
beers.
ate that shit in like
Thanks,
30
John.
Yeah,
seconds.
Emmer ate that shit in 5 minutes at Denny's.
I had lunch
Good old wood chipper.
and
The
breakfast at Denny's at once.
You don't lie. You had an egg and a hash brown. That's what he bought.
And then Emmer gets this burger at Denny's like the size of a building and
And-
mouths it down in like 4 minutes.
And then had dessert,
Yeah, it had
the
pancakes.
Grand Slam.
You guys need to pick
Yeah.
up whipped cream and feather the guy that falls asleep first.
he ate all that. He ate all that before I finished my single burger and fries.
Yeah.
was
Oh, and don't forget the
insane.
turkey
Delicious.
bacon though. What the fuck?
It's my
Like all of a
fave.
sudden you decide you're gonna eat healthy with turkey bacon,
You gotta draw the line somewhere.
and that's where it's drawn. All right, we know.
We
now.
have determined that I believe Emmer does not eat pork.
Hey, what the fuck? What?
Yep.
Where did that? Is it like a religious thing?
It started out as one, and then now I just kind of don't do it still.
He has standards when it comes to food consumption.
I'm dumbfounded on that one. That's just crazy.
He's got a line, but it's a line in sand, and it slowly gets eroded away by the waves.
One day I'll come around.
Yeah, I think so. All right, we're mumbling and stuff now, so we're gonna get out of here. Thanks much, folks. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you very soon, tomorrow, and get out to play some games. Have a good one.
You
Talk
are
to
now
later.
awake.
In honor of Jehonius, we need to buy Korean food.
Oh, and
I was
Jehonius, thanks
awake.
a lot. We'll use your money for
We
food.
are now asleep.
Korean
you.
food.
Yes, Korean food.
I am now woke.
Oh my gosh. Now I have to get up and go stop all this stuff. Thanks,
Sweet,
everybody.
we can still talk to the people.
Yeah, we can
Hi.
still talk to the
How's it going?
YouTube because it's going to take me 5 minutes to stand off this couch. Oh my gosh.
Do you mean to push you?
I almost should.
We're
No,
still
'cause everybody's going
we're
straight
still
down.
on YouTube. We're still on YouTube. We're still on YouTube until he turns it off. Okay.
Oh God, damn it! Watch out.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Party foul. Party foul. Party foul. Okay, bye for real.